digital night. Jim Bustle, he's guiding the light, unveiling mysteries of the unknown. UFOs in the alien zone. He's a man on a mission, exploring ancient secrets. It's his addiction, debating, discussing with his loyal crew. Cosmic conversations, unveiling the truth.
Shit. Star dudes, welcome back to another fucking episode. Tunes in the background. What's up, everybody? Chad Daddy, God bless her, keeping this fucking ship afloat, my dude. Appreciate it. Did you welcome Hendrix? Everyone, yeah, it's your hatch day today. Oh my heavens. Oh, happy birthday. I just got that. It didn't click in immediately for me. Happy birthday, man. God damn it. Birthday wishes, birthday blessings. Yes. Are you Pisces that you are? What is this time of year? I'm not an expert astrologer or anything, but oh my fuck, did I actually get it? Wow. Oh, is it really? Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, hopefully I think I fixed the audio. I reset all the fucking little widget things, and I think it went back to mono, so yeah, thankfully. Fuck yeah, man. Holy shit. Everybody's in March, huh? Mine's in a month, actually. A month and 10 days. So I share the same birthday with Oscar Schindler and Saddam Hussein. Two big celebrities there. Yes, everyone, thank you for coming, hanging out this evening. Thank you everyone for watching the VODs still on Twitch. I appreciate it. I see everybody still tuning in. You can watch these VODs on YouTube. I'll be uploading a swath of them again tomorrow night in their entirety. I am still looking for an editor. If anybody's editing IRL, just chatting content, please hit me up. Thank you for people who've reached out to me. Yeah. We'll have to kind of settle on somebody, so we'll figure that out here maybe in a week or two. But yeah, without further ado, get into this here. This evening, a couple things to talk about. Military UAP reporting procedures leaked. Ooh. More ChatGPT drama that's unfolded, and an interesting interview with a remote viewer from the Stargate program. So, if I can recall correctly, it went, it initially started with Hal Puthoff and Russell Targ and Ingo Swann, and then it moved over from them at SRI to the Monroe Institute, Bob Monroe. And then Stargate, if I can recall correctly, is the later program that kind of ended the remote viewing program in the 90s. So they're split up into groups of people that were associated kind of with each group, but interested to see what the guys say. I'm not familiar with him. I think it's on Danny Jones' podcast maybe, but I was interested to tune in to that. So yeah, you know, what am I on here even? Jesus Christ. First thing that I saw, god damn it, fuck, turn the music down just a tad. There we go. Oh, what is this? God damn it. This needs to be shouted from the rooftops. Seems like every time I fucking stream on here now, it starts off with more ridiculous news about Canada. I really just fucking don't know. This is what's wrong with blue check marks. Yeah, explain this to me, did you? What's going on? Oh yes. Oh, the bank run thing. Yeah. That's a good question. I have no idea. I've never seen this guy's account before. White Wabbit Warrior. Yeah, I don't know. Calling for a bank run is always a sketchy thing to do. I think it might be illegal, technically. Let's click on this guy then. Well, it's here. Child of God. Always got Justin. Yeah. well, it's here, folks. Be prepared that it will be increasingly difficult to access your hard-earned money in these fraudulent institutions we call banks. C63 will also have a major impact on how we use and access our money. The goal is for us to not have any. Canada to incorporate social scores in banking. Now, link to the article is always nice. Yes, thank you. The Canadian banking system is set to be radicalized by open banking framework. Proponents are framing this as a way for banks to easily share information and access user data. The truth of the matter is that this is an opportunity to merge social standings with banking to provide government complete control over our finances. The organization Open Banking Excellence and World Bank partner that originated in the UK claims that it will host all of a bank's relevant needs in one place. The organization, which has reached 40 countries, aims to create exceptional platforms and content that promotes knowledge sharing, new thinking, and partnerships within the industry, catalyzing the adoption of open finance and data for better financial inclusion worldwide. Well, that's a good question. Twitter post being misinterpreted as valid source news is beyond a waste of time. Well, absolutely, man. I don't disagree with you there. It's about having a fair, more inclusive, more open society, said Helen Child, founder of Open Banking Excellence. Open society, well, does that sound familiar? Why is there a need for inclusivity and fairness in banking when it should come down to numbers? It drives financial inclusion, she added. It's democratizing data. That will be worth more than gold as we move forward with a cashless society. There is no easier way to control the masses and to control their access to money, their ability to buy, trade, and freely move about. The Canadian press outlined the true motive in plain sight. One of the biggest areas of growth is in credit assessments. Under open banking, leaders could directly access an individual's banking data so they can look beyond credit scores. Consumers can also use it to build their credit scores, for example, by providing reliable rent payments. Interesting. Yeah, I saw the King Charles thing this morning, actually. Yeah. Banks already share information. It's called your credit score. I'm more worried about companies requiring I sign up for accounts that aren't safeguarded and share my information with random data brokers online. There's posts on Canada.ca talking about big data and social credit from 2018, warning the dangers. I just gotta believe this from some random Twitter website. This is... Where did this... it's finding sources is important, isn't it? So this is another one here, Wiretap Media. So they're another outlet dealing with Canadian politics, national news, boiled in sarcasm. Chrystia Freeland's 2020 budget will include inclusive financial legislation that could tie your financial status to a social credit score, and the Conservatives are pushing for it. Under the guise of inclusivity and fairness, Justin Trudeau's handler, Chrystia Freeland, is preparing to launch another fascist piece of legislation that will democratize Canadian banking. Open source banking will allow financial institutions to look beyond your credit score and share private banking data with other financial institutions, government and corporate greed heads to create a more open society. No, the financial inclusion framework is being sold as a convenient tool for customers to store their bank accounts and credit cards in one place. It may be the beginning of the end of financial privacy in Canada, and could inevitably give the government the ability to tie your finances to the long-awaited social credit score. The Trudeau government isn't to blame for this privacy blunder because it's the bring-it-home Conservatives pushing Trudeau and his regime to introduce this new totalitarian piece of legislation. More importantly, if data is the new gold, why are Canadians getting rebates from government and private institutions for the data they're sharing? Hunker down and buy gold. Buy some gold. Buy gold. I don't know about buying. Well, I mean, obviously, it's probably objectively a good investment, but yeah. This was an article. Did you share this, did you? Or was this something that I clicked on as well? Big data in the social credit system. The security consequences. When was this posted? This is on the Canadian government's website. The Chinese Communist Party is harnessing modern technologies and means to automate its processes for consolidating and expanding power. The purpose is explicit in the 2017 action plan to promote the development of big data, linking advances in big data to social governance, which is the CCP's preemptive process for ensuring state security. Advances in big data provide the CCP with a greater capacity to forecast, identify, and assess risks to party state security. Their application is also intended to improve the integration, sharing, and utilization of data between and across party state entities. One part of the CCP's social governance process is a nascent social credit system, which relies on technology to coerce and co-opt individuals to participate in their own management. Big data and social credit do not replace a party as a central authority. Developments in those fields seek to augment existing processes for social and political control, which are visibly and invisibly hosted through everyday social and economic activity. Progress in big data and social credit does not create fundamentally new control methodologies. Instead, those are best described as upgraded hardware and software components being installed to make the People's Republic of China political system more effective. Yeah. Buy my manually operated windshield wipers to reduce your carbon footprint. Man, fuck. There you go. Wishing it were easy to move to the US and I'd be gone in a minute. Man, it's... Yeah. Everyone's got their problems, I guess, man. But we're stuck here in the meantime. Yeah. This is 2018, yes. Yeah. This is what you were mentioning, did you? So is Canada coming up with policies counter to this warning, possibly? But I need to see that from government, not from some Twitter clickbait title. Interesting. True. Armstrong economics. Where's the actual piece of legislation that mentions this, I guess, right? We saw a few celebrities debanked from the system for voicing unpopular opinions due to any legal proceedings or crimes committed. Talking with CBDC, the organization World Bank Partner. So this is one of the things here. Open banking excellence for open banking and finance pioneers. Okay. And they mentioned in one of these headlines it had to do with the Bill C-63, I think was in there. Yeah. C-63 is bad, yes, but it doesn't talk about this. This is conspiracy brain shit. Show me something by Fintra. What's Fintra? This is the most detailed model of a human cell to date. Fuck yeah, bro. Look at this. Speak to why this makes total sense for global control. Maybe it's actually happening. Interesting. Well, it's yeah, that data is valuable. That input is valuable. I don't fucking know. I'm not familiar with this site either. I've never seen it. This was something that was trending today on Twitter. But yeah, it'd be nice to see where exactly this is mentioned within this bill and where Chrystia Freeland mentions this. But it's not worth visiting if it's one data point in a million. You need like 3 data points to be able to assign focus of wasting time kind of thing. Look at the breadcrumbs of the post. Great reset. This whole site is conspiracy narrative, and maybe it's on point, but where do you see great reset? Down here. Socrates, yeah. No, keep going. I love it. Above the top post. Right here. Within the Great Reset subset of, okay. Would you feed bugs to your pets? Yeah. I mean, yeah. The Great Reset is absolutely something that is trying to be pushed by a small group of people, but whether it in fact occurs or not, we've yet to know. But even a whole bug narrative too, like, you know, you could maybe argue that a lot of cultures have in fact eaten bugs for a long time, and it may objectively be more sustainable than cattle farming and whatnot, like massive not industry, commercial farming. There's no fucking term for it, but I think the whole idea was that, you know, all the peasants eat the bugs, and then Larry Fink eats the fucking A5 Wagyu. Yeah. Just too many people watch Snowpiercer. I've not seen Snowpiercer. This is a whole tinfoil bucket, little octopus murders. Yeah, man, I've been watching it. We just finished episode 3. Very interesting. So TLDR on it, not to spoil it for fucking anybody. Yeah, there's a gentleman, a journalist who dug too deep and was potentially murdered by the CIA or the NSA, etc. I think that's pretty much it, right? That he got too much involved in kind of the military-industrial complex, and a 3-letter agency killed him, and then framed his death. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think, we're debating whether or not that's happening with the WEF. Go ahead and eat grasshoppers, but I live in cattle country. You got the fucking bison, bud, up there. Fucking, you got the prime time fucking bison. Yeah. I want the Jim Russell diet. ChatGPT, please give. Oh man. Jim Russell diet in 2024, Chad, or fucking the Jim Russell diet in 2032? Because they're gonna look very fucking different, I think. We're gonna be fucking having bugs. We're gonna maggot soup. Fucking, we're eating grasshoppers. But there aren't gonna be bugs left though. That's the problem. Like once people start eating the bugs, they're not gonna stop. Like, you know how many bugs it would take to fill you up? Do you know how many butterflies you'd have to fucking eat to actually fill you up? There's not gonna be fucking butterflies left. Like the world's just gonna be, people are starting eating bees and shit. Gonna get fucked up. Yeah. I wrote a book about it. Yeah. Scrim meals for workers today. We're on the comparing gains and Discord. Yeah. Bill supposedly is tied to social credit score. Ah, thank you, Hendrix. Here we are. An act to develop a national framework for a guaranteed livable basic income. Ah, yes. This is the, yes. That's the beginning of it though, right? So, Klaus, I don't think no one necessarily, I guess, opposed to this. I don't think, maybe, but I mean, Klaus is someone who's been very influential with a lot of different Western leaders in the last couple decades, and he has openly praised the social credit system that the CCP uses in China, which is atrocious. And you know, Justin and co, his entire cabinet, almost his entire cabinet, are kind of aligned with Klaus's philosophies. So it isn't a stretch to think that they may believe that this is the way to kind of wrangle people, is by installing some kind of quasi social credit system like they have in China, which is very disturbing. And one of the ways maybe they may be able to do that is through through universal basic income, maybe. And I mean, in the next couple of years with AI, we know, going into which I'll pull up here in a second, oddly enough, we keep getting like, and this may just be a big coincidence, but we keep getting these figures thrown around like AGI in 5 years, AGI in 6 years, 2030, right? It's like, oh. So then AGI is what will kind of do away with a lot of lower income jobs. 100%. And so then everybody's on universal basic income. And then if you have some kind of social credit score tied to being able to get that money, then there you go. It's like a quasi kind of social credit system right there. So then, and this is, I'll talk about this here in a second, but Sam Friedman was on and he's looking for like $7 trillion in funding for this. Like, who's got all that money, right? These same people trying to push this whole Great Reset narrative, and they see her coming down the pipes. I think, you know, whether they force us to eat bugs or not, or it all goes awry and turns into a giant fucking Mad Max kind of mess. I would kind of bet on the latter personally. Yeah. Sorry, I'll read through the comments, guys. This is the other one here. Oh, there's another one there. Okay. When I read about this in Canada the first time I was serious, I was concerned that it was contingent on the fact that upon accepting UBI, you'd lose access to federal health care or something. Is that the case when AI and automation take most jobs? Do you think the elite will tolerate billions of useless leaders? Well, that's the thing, right? Yeah. And this kind of elitism too, in regards to, would a group of people really try and do away with a large population of people? I don't think that should surprise anyone. Hopefully not. There are people out there like that. They were referred to through the 70s and 80s as eugenicists, and that they believed that the world was becoming overpopulated. And I think it's a bit of a misnomer. I've kind of made this comparison to say that, well, the Earth could sustain the 30 billion people. Technically it could, yeah. But like, how comfortable do you want to live, right? If you want to live like what most suburban middle class people live like, sure. But if you want to live like a Bill Gates kind of lifestyle or a Richard Branson kind of lifestyle, fuck no, right? So then you might want to look at controlling the population, if that's the case. And then from there, you cook up all kinds of crazy ways to potentially do that. AGI will change society. The companies that own AGI will change. That's a good point, actually, Digi. Yeah. 2034 is that Justin Timberlake movie in time? Oh fuck, is that actually a thing? Yeah. Humans have never been tried to eliminate large ethnic groups before. Pinky Promise. Yeah. Enough food for everyone, but we're hoarding it and throwing it away every day. I know, go to your local fucking grocery store, go out back. Just walk out back, don't even ask. Walk out back and look how much shit they throw out every day. And you ask, you say, couldn't we give this to homeless people or people that are starving? And it's kind of a fucked up answer, but they're like, we wish we could. But what happens is you give that spoiled food to people, they eat it, they then get sick, and then they sue the grocery store. And then they sue them for enough money to where they're not homeless and starving anymore. It's kind of fucked up, actually. I worked at a grocery store. It's my first job. I got fired from it, actually. As most people get fired from the first job, right? It's kind of like a badge of honor you have to fucking go through. You have to get fired from the first job you fucking do. You have to disappoint everyone. Yeah. Fuck. Interesting. If you have any questions, comments regarding an act to develop a national framework for a guaranteed livable basic income. I mean, this is yeah, confirmed fired here. Oh fuck, man. It's something you have to go through at some point, right? You're still working your first job 10 years in, man. Well, that's really honorable, droid. Fuck, that's great. Sometimes people get fired from their job all the time, and that listen, you don't conform. Great, good. Fuck yeah, yeah. Zoomer. Zoomer boomer. I guess I'm millennial. Yeah. Oh my heavens. Yeah. But this is something I think we're gonna have to figure out either way. It's just any of these systems are just something I'm very suspicious of them, in that I don't trust a lot of the people that are pulling strings in positions of power now. I have an intuition, and it's also just like probably more than 3 brain cells to see that a lot of them are puppeted by psychopaths. So yeah, it just kind of makes me uncomfortable a little bit. But anyway, listen, don't come to Canada anytime soon. Things are gonna get real bad here. We're gonna be eating bugs. It's okay though. Speaking of bugs, this is kind of cool. A cellular landscape cross-section through a eukaryotic, I don't know biological terms, cell. Look at it. It looks so strange. That's what makes us up. All these little things. Yeah. Malkovich not watching this drive. What's Malkovich? Is there inner machinery? Can we access that with enough drugs though? How many drugs can we take before we start accessing this? Oh, being John Malkovich. Okay. I actually haven't. I know of the movie though. Yeah, or it's in a TV show. It's pretty trippy though when you really look at it though, right? Like, thanks, buddy. Thanks. It is fucking. Look at it. It's so fucking. I could just stare. I used to just get fucking baked and just stare at pictures like this, and you just look inside of all of the structures. Like, look, there's like some weird hexagonal shapes in there. It's so strange. Like, is that actually what it looks like? I think it must be, huh? It's so strange, man. Like, it's just so... Watch it, Octopus Murders. Surrealist fantasy comedy drama directed by Spike Jonze. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it, actually. I'll keep it on my list. Yeah, the Octopus Murders have definitely been fucking interesting, I have to say. It's one of those things, I think, like, a lot of people are like, yeah, probably they fucking kill people who get too close to, like, understanding all the sketchy shit they're doing, all the drugs they're running to support the black programs they're fucking involved in, which is kind of involved really with the whole UFO thing, right? The disclosure phenomena. They're suggesting that, people like Grush are suggesting that, you know, these programs are off the books, and how did they fund them? Question mark, right? And that's one of the rumors, is that they were running drugs, that the CIA was running cocaine. They were involved in dispersing crack cocaine through like poor black communities in the United States through the 80s. All kinds, like, stuff that's pretty based. And then you read this, well, I guess you see this story unfold from this journalist digging up another journalist's work. It's not necessarily, I can't really spoil anything. It's just a documentary. You can Google this person's name that he's looking into, but and in finding out that, you know, there's this very intricately run operation. I haven't finished the last episode of it, but And they've recruited some kind of nefarious intellectuals to kind of spearhead some of these programs, and it's fucked. It's very fucked. Yeah, man. Well, yeah, the Boeing one too, right? Yeah, the Boeing is fucked. Rick Ross invented crack cocaine, did he actually? Man, yeah. The Boeing situation is like a huge fucking mess. Yeah, I wouldn't be getting on one of those fucking planes, man. Yeah. Fucking head trip, that is. Like the doors blowing off and shit. Like, what the fuck? And then, you know, we live our crazy lives, and then this is what's going on inside of us at all times. I keep seeing fucking ads. What are those? They're called like water bears. They're the plushies. I keep seeing water bear plushies everywhere. Out on my phone. I don't know what the fuck I clicked on, but like everywhere. People are getting into the micro. Oh, fucking. So is this live footage, Digi? Hot. This is hot. This is fucking as hot as it gets. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah, tardigrades. Yeah, making a comeback. Is it part of disclosure? Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? Is this actual live footage though? I think it is, isn't it? All these processes going on, a dividing cell. What the fuck? Okay, this is a recreation. This is not. Oh, this is inside of you right now. Oh my heavens. What is going on here? Transcription of genetic code from DNA into RNA. Oh my god. What a mess. Looks like Lucky Charms. Wait, no, this is a birthday. Yeah, this is your birthday stream, isn't it? Yeah. These are better videos. Your cells control access to genetic code by wrapping DNA around proteins. Yeah. What's gonna snow in college, and I was convinced I could feel all this. Yeah, I was just saying that actually, Astramare, that yeah, I would get fucking baked and watch these kinds of videos and just be like, and you know what's really trippy is you watch these kinds of videos and these like top-down views of cells and whatnot, and then you go looking at space pictures, and you're like, as above, so below. So is that the saying? No, is that it? As above, so below? Fuck, that's the kind of thing you say though, right? Shit. Yeah, man. Yeah, just welcome me. What's up, man? Yeah. I walked 2 strands again. It's like a Superboy. Oh my fucking god. We do though, yeah. This is how we get crisp. It's basically redundancy check, just like coding. I mean, it's kind of it is so trippy when you think about it. Like, we really are in some kind of fucking simulation. Oh shit. Nucleosome sliding. Like, how the fuck did all this start though? We need to contemplate this stuff more. I know there's people in philosophy that think about these things and their musings are just, the books they write are just thrown in some dusty shelf. Never heard from again. But when you really think about the entire system of evolution and that this is its humble beginnings and that it's evolved and grown to something like us that's self-conscious, it's very strange. It's beyond strange, really. Yeah. Because I look like a fat worm. Grendel TV, oh my god, don't say that. Don't say that. It's okay, but deep inside, you are, though. This is the thing. Deep inside, that's what we all are. These crazy worms. Some of them are fat. It's alright, yeah. Still sour is not good. Fuck yeah. Yeah. Just a tube with an opening and a closing, the mortal literal coil. Yeah, that's fucking, yeah, that's kind of, Jesus Christ. Some words are fat, it's fine. It makes you think maybe we are really containers. I would bet that we are, Master. That's my bet. That's really all I can say, and all I think anyone can really say. Some people's intuitions are stronger than others, maybe, but I would bet that we are. That's my bet. So we're in some kind of simulation. I could be wrong, but I bet the house against that, right? Not that I have much to bet, really, but I would bet everything that's my own kind of intuition, I guess. Just from observing things, from watching videos like this for far too long. That's my bet, yeah. You get a bone to pick with your game master. You gonna stop rolling those fucking those natural fucking ones there, Crindle TV. You get a couple 20s in your life. You know, I've seen those play out, you know? Right? Fuck. That you think of as you as a higher plane perception of self that exists at a greater level of consciousness in your individual mechanism by the same nature Earth could be aware. It could be. It will be the case, yeah. Let's be superhuman. You know, man, if we had access to CRISPR, I'm curious what would happen, really. Would people make themselves superhumans? I just think it would be a fucking mess, personally. I just don't... I think things would get really fucked up really quickly. Yeah. Man. Goddamn. Well, I guess we do, don't we? I mean, like on an individual scale, like we could really actually change things. Like maybe that'll be the future. Maybe we're really underestimating how strange the future is going to be. People will be blue. They'll be like metallic. They'll be like green. They'll be purple. They'll do all these crazy things with their skin, their eyes. They'll grow really big. They'll go really small. Is that what'll happen? We'll create some kind of fantasy world. We'll have Lord of the Rings, IRL. Something like that would be fucking amazing. My daddy. Oh, well, that's Jeff Bezos got buffed from injecting dead babies into himself. What's it called again? Stem cell. That's how Jeff got jacked. Stem cell therapy, testosterone, some HGH probably, a little bit of creatine, a lot of creatine probably, lots of milk. Yeah. It's not dead babies. Are you sure? Prove me wrong. Oh, adrenochrome. Okay. Is that adrenochrome? Fuck. Anyway. I'm gonna read this. Sam Altman, GPT-5 will be a technological upheaval. Startups are underestimating future models and they will get steamrolled. That's a big claim. It's kind of a disturbing claim. As someone, probably as many people here have been using ChatGPT for pretty much everything. This is a little bit unsettling when I hear this from this gentleman. He did warn us with ChatGPT initially that it was going to start to kind of change things, and no one believed him. I wasn't even fucking paying attention when it got released. There were people around me who had literally no interest in AI whatsoever that told me about it. I was like, what? They're like, oh yeah, like you see the kids in high school are like getting the right papers for them. I was like, what? Like I was following the whole, I was following the art generation from DALL-E, which I thought was amazing. But I could not wrap my head around the fact that you can feed this thing a whole paper and it'll just give you the TLDR in like 5 seconds. Fuck, right? And then when it got access to the internet with ChatGPT 4, the add-ons, I was like, fuck, yeah, like you can just be an expert in anything instantly, pretty much. I mean, not really, actually, but you feel like it, which is the dangerous part, honestly. He is confident that with enough compute, we will create AGI that surpasses humans within 5 years. Oh, conveniently. So right by 2030. Actually, he's obsessed with compute. He is confident compute will be the most important currency in the future. How do we increase our compute? Oh man, I couldn't imagine being in school with this, Chad. I couldn't imagine like any that high school, university professors marking papers of this shit. Good fucking luck. What a nightmare. And you know what it's gonna do? Is it's gonna make everybody rethink the entire system, which is great. Because the way it was working before was fucking terrible. Yeah. Don't even really need professors. Really. Let's be honest here, right? Go find the top tier professors in each field you want to study, and then go take all their papers, all their research, and get ChatGPT to study all of it, and turn ChatGPT into your own personal tutor on said subject based off of this professor's life work. There you go. Don't need to pay Harvard fucking anything. You want top tier philosophy fucking tutor? There it is right there. Fuck, I want to pay them $150,000. Fuck that. I just finished this entire interview with Lex. It just came out. It was really fucking good. I feel like these tweets and comments are taken into context of what he actually thinks. Lex asks him a lot of good questions. Oh, with Sam. Yeah, so this interview, I believe, Train Beast, was from an interview he did with Korean Silicon Valley correspondents, where he said this. But I think he may have reiterated some of these points with the interview with Lex as well. But yeah, pretty fucking crazy. Yeah. Supposed to be thinking of the past. Every kid has an AI in their pocket answering every question. It's one of those things, man, where I think this is what we've really been waiting for, is kind of a reworking of education, and it seriously has the potential for it. I mean, I've been doing this kind of on my own, like just tutoring about anything, honestly, and it is such a powerful tutor. I mean, you have to kind of watch it because you have to know what to feed it, I guess, but the next step here will probably get to that point. Once it can start creating like visual aids for things properly, it'll be fucking insane. Once it can get the art generation tied into the ChatGPT flawlessly, it'll be nuts. It'll be really nuts. It'll be like, show me how to take apart this car engine with diagrams, and boom, 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 step by step guides, instantly generated, tailored to you and what you need, all created instantly. And take that and apply that to anything, which is kind of scary, right? Like the guy's telling it to like, show me how to make napalm out of stuff in my garage. Here's all the stuff in my garage. Okay. All right. Sure. Great. Like that's the dark side of it, right? Yeah. Man. Yeah. Let's see here. OpenAI researchers warned board of AI breakthrough ahead of CEO ouster, sources say. Oh, yes. There's some conspiracy shit about why the board tried getting rid of Sam and how he ended up getting back in, etc. That they solved AGI or some shit in GPT-5. I heard those rumors. Yeah. There was some breakthrough made, and he seems to be implying that, I think, here with this comment, that GPT-5 will be a technological upheaval. But then he's saying that we will create AGI that surpasses human within 5 years. So he might be implying here that AGI to some degree has already been achieved. Now, AGI, from what I understood it, from what I've heard people argue in philosophy, they argue obviously about nature of consciousness stuff all the fucking time. And people maybe from philosophy thinking about this are like, oh, well, a self-conscious being, right? Like a digital self-conscious. It's not necessarily that, actually. It just has to pass a set of tests, and that its consciousness isn't necessarily, it can vary. It doesn't have to be self-conscious to necessarily be artificial general intelligence. So here Sam seems to be implying with this comment, although this is translated from Korean, that AGI, we will create AGI that will surpass humans within 5 years. So AGI is artificial general intelligence, Rabbit. So essentially it's you have to be careful with the word conscious here, but I guess we can kind of use it a little bit loosely, but it's kind of like a conscious AI that technically it's something that is going to kind of outperform people. Again, when I think of AGI, I still think of like the intelligent AI that killed everyone in the Terminator movie series, where it became completely conscious and then went through the internet and then launched all the nukes and tried to kill all the humans, etc. Started building machines to kill humans, was kept perfecting itself and then started replicating all these machines, etc. But I think it's there's a varying graph. I don't know what people in computer science are applying to this, but I think technically speaking, according to them, yeah, they may have achieved some form of AGI with ChatGPT 5, and they may be perfecting it going forward. He's lost in technologies other than AGI, like blockchain and biotechnology. He said he didn't know when ChatGPT 5 will be released. He says this is a translation of a Korean language article, so take this with a grain of salt. Let's see. So Altman, who met with Korean Silicon Valley correspondents in the 14, said, I don't know when ChatGPT 5 will be released, but it will make great progress as a model that takes a leap forward in advanced interference Inference function, sorry, he added. What are the limitations of GPT? There are many questions as to whether it exists, but I will confidently say no. We are confident that there are no limits to the ChatGPT model and that if sufficient computational resources are invested, it will not be difficult to build AGI that surpasses humans. I am confident that computing will become the most important currency in the future, he stressed. The world is underprepared for the rapidly increasing demand for computing, and added, we need to think about what it takes to build massive amounts of computing as cheaply as possible. He also opined that underestimating the improvement margin of the developing ChatGPT 5 and deploying business accordingly would be a big mistake. This implies that the improvement margin ChatGPT 5 is beyond imagination. He mentioned many startups are happy assuming that ChatGPT 5 will only make slight progress rather than significant advancements, since it presents more business opportunities, but I think this is a big mistake. In this case, as often happens when technological upheavals occur, they will be steamrolled by the next generation model. Altman appeared to have no interest other than in building AGI. His interest seems to have faded in other technologies, including blockchain and biotechnology. Beyond AI, he said, in the past, I had a broad perspective on everything happening in the world and could see things I couldn't from an air perspective. Unfortunately, these days, I am entirely focused on AI all of the time at full tilt, making it difficult to have the perspectives. Interesting. He said in the next interview there will be a bunch of new stuff released in the next few months, and he may just release smaller updates to GPT-4 to until 5, basically just like updates. Okay. So he's going to just upgrade 4 until effectively it gets to 5. That'd be interesting. Companies that aren't using AI are underprepared for this. We are going to see profit margins get eaten by larger companies that have these capabilities until we find that services will be further consolidated into singular companies like Amazon owns half deliveries today, until eventually the world is whole fed by these systems that solve problems in ways that are applicable across countries. This post in particular, Chad, they are in the Discord. I'll post this if you want to read it yourself. Here, I'll post it right there. There you are. But pretty crazy. I mean, I've encountered this in talking with people, honestly. That you can join it. Yeah, it's right below, Chad. You can just hit it. You can join. It's in the Forbidden Knowledge channels where a lot of the stuff gets posted. It's just, man, it's just fucking... It is crazy. I mean, like, ChatGPT 4 has definitely revolutionized a lot of things. Crimsix, welcome, man. But yeah, I think we're waiting on that next step. Again, once it can, at least from my use of ChatGPT 4, once it can start visualizing things like flawlessly, I think then we're just off to the fucking running. I mean, like, if, for instance, in generating, like, it doesn't do a great job. You can get it to do this, but like to generate banners and digital art and like adding in letters and language and whatnot to it in English on the languages. Once it can flawlessly do that and create charts and graphs flawlessly, I think it's just going to fucking upend a lot of shit. And we have no idea. Well, we have an idea. A lot of people in these industries have no fucking idea, which is surprising. But anyway, I mean, objectively, people that pay attention to these things are a very small minority in comparison to the majority of the population, right? So, yeah, still. What's the next one? I think it was related to this. No, we're off to other things. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't become completely conscious. Some ghost in the machine, some soul inhabits the body of ChatGPT 5 in the digital space, and then just goes and presses all the fucking nuclear launch codes and resets all of us. Stressing that computation will be the most important resource in the future. Again, man, let's just hope we don't have a fucking solar flare. You imagine, like, we reach AGI and it starts solving all of these mysteries of the universe for us. We're like, oh my God, we finally, we don't have to work anymore. And then, boom, fucking Stone Age, right? Big solar flare. All of it just wiped, right? Next thing we know, we're back in the mud with sticks, starting fires and beating each other to death. It's like, fuck. It's all hinging. Like, we need to figure out another way. Like, we need to, maybe it's like crystals. I don't fucking know. Maybe it's Edgar Cayce. Maybe Edgar Cayce and the Atlanteans who used crystals, quartz crystal technology, maybe they had the right idea. It wouldn't get fucking fried by a solar flare. Who knows? I certainly don't. On to the next thing. This is some UFO stuff, I guess, which is related to all this. But yeah, one heck of a headline. But Professor McDonald was correct. So this guy, Merrick, sorry, he was involved. He had a conversation with Mick West, and they were debating the go fast footage, gimbal footage, I think. Anyway, it was a great conversation. Is it a bit loud? Okay, I'll turn it down slightly. A second. It's some of these songs, man, some of these songs are a little bit louder than others. As Vermont GMG noted in his book, CIA dictated the conclusions of the 1953 Robertson panel, which led to a government policy of debunking all UAP incidents, no matter how credible. Scientists accuse CIA of world plot to debunk UFOs. Surprising. Scientific proof of flying saucers and acceptance of their existence had been debunked by a deliberate debunking program arranged by many governments and backed by the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency. Well, interesting, yeah. Not surprising in the least, right? That there's some campaign to do this. Let's click on the actual article here. This is in the CIA's website. Here's a little snippet. Zoom, please. Australia, July 8th. An American scientist contended Saturday that flying saucers were visiting the Earth from another world and accused governments of debunking our deliberate program to debunk their existence. Professor James McDonald, 47, senior physicist of the Institute of Atmospheric Physics and professor in the Department of Meteorology at the University of Minnesota, said he had no scientific explanation for the visits, but he told newsmen here that scientific proof of flying saucers and acceptance of their existence had been delayed by a deliberate debunking program arranged by many governments, backed by the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency. McDonald, who was in Sydney to investigate sightings of unidentified flying objects seen over Australia, said he did not believe that there was a CIA conspiracy to cover up the truth. Rabbit, God bless, sir. God bless. But rather that they were trying to sweep the problem under the carpet. This, he said, was a device to solve the problem of the large number of operatives tied up on UFO sightings. Over the last 2 weeks, McDonald made tape records of the experience of 70 Australians who claimed to have seen flying saucers. Some of the reports, he believed, were authentic. A flying saucer that followed a car at up to 150 miles per hour until the car almost crashed. Another saucer that gave some Gippsland, Eastern Victoria people a hair-raising experience when it swept in at them at treetop height. A UFO that caused the lights of an automobile to end in a manner scientifically impossible to explain. A sighting in New Guinea by a clergyman and 30 others of a saucer that hovered above the sea. Asked to explain UFO phenomena, McDonald said an explanation was that the saucers were an anthropological probe, and another in much more advanced civilization. But this is mere unscientific speculation, and I would not like it to be treated as anything but that, he added. Interesting. But again, too many people seeing these things. And you have ding-dongs on Twitter trying to debunk everything and say, oh, well, it's not real because I don't have a piece of it. It's like, oh my fucking God, man. It's like, what the fuck? Like, there's far too many people seeing these things. They've been caught on camera, but then obviously when they're caught on camera, every other explanation of the sun is given, right? It's like, oh, it's just in denial about some mystical thing going on around it. I mean, it is mystical. It's literally, it's sometimes presented to people. It's almost it's like a very subjective experience, except when you see it in groups of people and there's 30 people that see the fucking saucer hovering over the sea. Swamp gas, yeah, man, it's just not buying that bullshit, really, because that's what it is. It's bullshit. It's objectively bullshit. I mean, it's just absolutely asinine to just, it's like a copium, I think, too, where, I would say it's psychologically quite revealing. I think people that get themselves into that kind of conundrum where they have convinced themselves every single account and all these people are lying. As time goes on, I think they reveal themselves to be more and more mentally ill. That's unfortunately what it is. It's tragic. It's really funny in some ways. You have to laugh because initially a lot of people who saw these things were written off by everybody else as being insane, of being not, of being mentally ill, of being unsettled. And it's gotten to the point now where people who are so desperate to debunk this, the tables have turned a little bit, where I think bits and pieces of their own mental illness are beginning to kind of come to the surface. And it's kind of a tragic turn of events where initially this started off as something that only crazy people saw. And now people clinging to these dying ideologies, or belief systems that this is all bullshit. They're the ones that have kind of gone crazy in the meantime. Really, you'd have to be to thank every single person who's ever saw anything. People of sound mind, even video evidence, even a piece of potentially physical evidence. Although it's obviously contentious, there's too much of it. There's objectively too much of it. You'd have to be fucked. Personally, I don't understand how anyone could look at all of this. Anyway. And here's this, what year is this from? 1967. And that's the other part of this as well. A genuine conspiracy and psychological operation that's reported on the people. And I think I've given my own 2 cents on this as to why I think that may have been implemented. This whole phenomena is just in and of itself very enlightening. And I think if you're an intelligence agency, a group of intelligence agencies that are trying to just control the general public, or your job from others within the government has been to try and control the public and control the narrative, then you don't want people contending with and thinking about these kinds of questions, because they're going to ask more questions, and the more questions they ask, the more problematic it is for this system, right? This military industrial complex. So they want to keep people dumb and down, not so dumb that they're not productive and they don't contribute anything, but you don't want to enlighten them too much to where they start stepping out of line, right? I don't know you, but my neighbor has guns, and I told him I'm listening in the neighborhood. If shit goes sideways, more guns than you can shoot, so I'm meeting. I'm off-alliance. Fuck. Oh, fuck. On to this here. Breaking news. This was just posted today. So this is the title here of the stream. And sorry, by the way, I haven't checked. I don't think anybody from Twitter has chimed into this, but if you're watching from Twitter, please don't be shy. You chime in. Yeah. War Trigger, welcome, man. Welcome. It's Digi's birthday. Breaking news. Freedom of Information Act, pay dirt. Joint Chiefs of Staff Worldwide Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Reporting Procedures. This is from May 19th, 2023. So this is from almost a year ago. On May 19, 2023, the Joint Staff, J3 Operations, J36 Homeland Defense Division of the Joint Chiefs of Staff disseminated to all unified military commands worldwide a set of uniform procedures to be followed for gathering data and reporting of contemporary military encounters as unidentified anomalous phenomena using a detailed standard reporting template. I have now obtained a copy of that Pentagon message. I believe that its detailed contents are being made public here for the first time. If the Gen Admin message has been previously published, that publication has not come to my attention. The message was designated as Gen Admin Joint Staff J3 Washington, blah, 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 blah. Yes, UAP Reporting and Material Disposition. It was disseminated as a Controlled and Classified Information, or CUI. Journalist Brandy Vincent referred in passing to the existence of this message in the Defense Scoop article dated August 30th, 2023. Hicks takes direct oversight of Pentagon's UAP office now. New reporting website to be launched. I promptly asked Pentagon Press Officer Susan Gao to release a copy to me, but Gao replied, I cannot provide a copy of the message to you as it contains information that is not publicly releasable. On August 31st, 2023, I filed a FOIA request for the Gen Admin message. The Department of Defense Freedom of Information Division has now released a 9-page document to me. Response letter dated March 15th, 2024, received by me on March 18th, with only minimal redactions. After redacting my personal information, I am now making the complete FOIA available at the link below. The image merely shows the first page of the document. Initial observations. Among the noteworthy aspects I see in the May 2023 Joint Staff communication, an introductory paragraph states, U.S. government has observed UAP in or near the territory, and or operating areas of the United States, of its allies, and of its adversaries, and observing, identifying, and potentially mitigating UAP has become a growing priority for U.S. policymakers, lawmakers, and warfighters. The potentially ubiquitous presence of UAP defines the national security implications for those anomalies, which range from operational hazards and threats to technological and intelligence surprise to adversaries' strategic miscalculations. It is imperative that DoD provide UAP incident, incursion, and engagement reporting data and material for the department's detection and mitigation of potential threats, exploitation of advanced technologies, and informing policymaker and warfighter decisions. Oh my heavens, yeah. But reports on UAP incidents are to be transmitted upwards of 96 hours, but any UAP engagement reports within 12 hours. A UAP engagement is a kinetic or non-kinetic response to a UAP intended to deny, disrupt, or destroy the phenomena and or its objects. My God. I can change my name to Rabbit. I'd leave it, Rabbit. It's kind of become a part of the whole meme now, right? Having the 4, like the backwards. The ultimate nexus of collection and analysis of these reports is the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. The reporting procedures in the Joint Stab Message apply only to detections or encounters that demonstrate behaviors not readily understood by sensors or observers that include but are not limited to phenomena that demonstrate apparent capabilities or material that exceeds known performance envelopes. The UAP reporting procedures described in this directive do not apply to incidents, incursions, or engagements by identifiable non-anomalous phenomena. Examples: SUAS or other capabilities or materials that do not exceed known or predicted performance envelopes. Such incidents will instead continue to be reported through established processes and mechanisms. The reporting matrix seeks 11 categories of information. Okay. Among these, any UAP displayed anomalous characteristics, behaviors. Examples: no apparent control surfaces, extreme acceleration, direct change, detection by certain sensors but not others, and any UAP effects on equipment, mechanical, electrical controls and weapon systems, and whether persistent or transitory. ARROW will coordinate the handling of any UAP objects and material of incidents, intrusions, and engagements, but recovery and transfer of identifiable non-anomalous items of foreign origin continue to be managed by the DoD FMP, a foreign material program. Okay. This objects and material of incidents, intrusions, and engagements. Recovery and transfer of identifiable non-anomalous items of foreign origin continue to be okay. So to be there. The military commands are to enable deploy of special sensors within the area of responsibility for detection, observation, and identification, sensitive areas. Blah blah blah. Okay. On its website, ARROW calls the military reporting system defined in the May 2023 GenAdmin current operation UAP reporting. In a briefing for selected journalists on March 6, 2024, ARROW Acting Director Tim Phillips said that ARROW is receiving approximately anywhere between 90 and 100 to 110 a month through such channels. That's pretty good. He also told journalists, "We're trying to work out the command and control, the mechanisms on how other government entities can report UAP incidents. As for civilian pilots, the ARROW website states ARROW receives UAP-related pilot reports from the Federal Aviation Administration. It does not yet employ any system of receiving UAP observation. Okay. Service contract. I'm just from current or firmer. So it goes back to activities related to UAP dating to 1945, which is accessible through a portal on the ARROW website. Anything about Roswell? Here's the actual fucking breakdown here. The official FOIA, I guess. So, interesting. This is, again, just something official that was put out. They're taking this very seriously, right? And I think you could come at this from the perspective of like Mick West. And you could say, well, maybe they've just got it all wrong. But they're privy to a lot of classified information that we're not. And we know that they more than likely have data, like satellite data, on these objects from like the Gimbal Go Fast, maybe even the Tic Tac incident. So they would potentially have hard data that these objects were in fact real. They were not anomalous. They were not birds. They were in fact moving at incredible rates of speed. Therefore, they have hard data knowing that these things are in fact real. Oh, I see the stream just cut in and out there for a second. Hopefully I'm still live. Welcome to the chat room. God damn it. Hopefully I'm still here. I think I might be. Interesting. Well, yeah. So, again, the fact that they're taking it this seriously, I think, is pretty indicative that this is something that's real, that's happening, right? I mean, we're to bet here, because obviously we don't know for sure. I don't fucking know for sure. But if I were to bet, I would bet that probably it's going down. Now, something else to go over that's interesting. So this is Rear Admiral Tim Goldet. Is that how you say his name? Goldet. What the fuck? I tried. He's got a PhD in something. Very interesting. So I thought I'd read. So this is something that he made up for. Oh, did you? Nice, man. Yeah. I just came upon this myself as well right before I started streaming. So this is something he submitted to the Soul Foundation. And so I thought I would just read this introductory post. Now, I don't know if we're going to get through the entire thing. I'll skim through it. Yeah. Goldet, man. That French name, for Christ's sake, I can only speak like English and like poor English. Beneath the surface, we may learn more about UAP by looking into the ocean. Let's get this music down a little bit there. There we go. Executive summary. Gal Odette. I did it. Research and attention regarding unidentified aerial phenomena are almost entirely focused on the aerial occurrences. Yet instances of UAP at sea, whether under the surface or traveling transmedium between the atmosphere and the ocean, are also known to occur. Perhaps the most widely publicized example was the Tic Tac UAP described by Navy FA-18F Super Hornet pilots as hovering above roiling ocean white water during a training exercise in 2004. Yes, the white water may have indicated a large UAP below, or that the observed UAP had emerged from the sea, suggesting an unidentified submersible object, a USO. More recently, a transmedium UAP was observed by U.S. Navy personnel on board the USS Omaha west of San Diego in 2019. We have less research on transmedium UAP and USOs and is ideal, yet what data there is points to a few conclusions. First, these underwater anomalies jeopardize U.S. maritime security, which is already weakened by our relative ignorance about the global ocean. Second, their presence in the oceans at the same time presents an unprecedented opportunity for maritime science. Third, to meet security and scientific challenges, transmedium UAP and USOs should be elevated to national ocean research priorities. They should be. Where national security is concerned, the current situation with maritime domain awareness is unsettling. Even though the ocean covers 71% of Earth's surface, less than 25% of the seabed has been mapped to modern standards, and only 5% of the ocean volume explored. Are there giant squids? Like monster squids under there, maybe? More is known about the surfaces of the moon and Mars and that of our own planet's seafloor. The geophysical undersampling of the world's ocean is a critical concern for maritime security, as obtaining and maintaining knowledge of threats on and under the sea remains a perpetually unfinished task. The fact that unidentified objects with unexplainable characteristics are entering U.S. water space and the DoD is not raising a giant red flag is a sign that the government is not sharing all it knows about all domain anomalous phenomena. An effective and complete approach to maritime security must seek to uncover the unknown unknowns associated with transmedium UAP and USOs. Yet, however concerning the security implications of UAP are, the scientific ramifications are nothing short of world-changing. Pilots, credible observers, and calibrated military instrumentation have recorded objects accelerating at rates and crossing the air-sea interface in ways not possible for anything made by humans. And several pieces of congressional legislation support these observations by defining UAP as transmedium vehicles. The stunning implication is that engineering, material science, and physics beyond the state of the art are needed to produce and operate these objects. This knowledge could transform such fields as air and maritime transportation, energy generation, agriculture, communications, computing, manufacturing, space travel, virtually every imaginable economic sector, not to mention defense. If we are, in fact, able to back engineer, reverse, and understand any of this. Which, that's debatable. Further study of UAP may lead to discoveries that make those of the scientific revolution in the 17th and 18th centuries look like baby steps. And it would, because theoretically, if we could harness this power, we could not only increase, transportation, energy generation, we could not enhance agriculture, communications, computing. We could go to any fucking star system we might just damn well please, right? Which, again, maybe that's not the best idea right now, right? Considering the state of the world. Who knows? To this end, and to meet the maritime security challenge, trans-medium UAP and USOs should be elevated to national ocean research priorities. Action should be taken by the U.S. government, academia, philanthropies, the private sector, and the international community. The White House should take the lead through several actions, directing through executive order the gathering, re-examination, and eventual disclosure of any relevant knowledge held by ocean agencies and departments such as NOAA and NASA, the Office of Naval Intelligence, and the Naval Oceanographic Office, including all domain anomalous phenomena as a topic in the White House Research and Development Priorities Memorandum for the 2026 fiscal year budget, and directing the Ocean Policy Committee to add trans-medium UAP and USOs to the strategic priorities of the implementation plan for the National Strategy for Ocean Mapping, Exploring, and Characterizing the U.S. Exclusive Economic Zone. Meanwhile, Congress should include the same action in the 2025 National Defense Authorization Act and corresponding language in the reauthorization of the National Oceanographic Partnership Program. Holy fuck. Can we not simplify these programs down a little bit? Jesus Christ. The primary federal program for facilitating collaboration between universities, industry, and organizations in the ocean advocacy nonprofit space. It's like, Jesus Christ. Like, it's just so much. It's too much to say. Beyond strengthening national security, expanding research on UAP into the maritime domain can lead to a greater understanding of the ocean, with positive outcomes for maritime conservation and the American blue economy. Most crucially, a complete understanding of anomalous phenomena will remain hidden, absent dedicated research in our largely unknown oceans. Interesting. Yeah. As long as we leave this galaxy in 4.5 billion years, we should be okay. That's, well, you have the sun and the drama trying to kill us. Who knows? Maybe the sun. Maybe by then though we'll have harnessed the power of the sun, and we can restart it again or make a new sun. That, or in 5 years we're all going to be back to a Stone Age eating bugs because somebody thought it was a good idea to try and level out the population, and in actual fact ended up killing almost everybody in the process, including themselves. And maybe that's happened a bunch of times in the last 300,000 years, and we have no idea. It's like, why did it take us so long, right? Why did it take us so long? There's evidence of people fucking carving, things into like sharp points, fucking 150, 200,000 years ago. Older than that, actually, probably like a million years ago, really. And we just got to this point like recently, honestly. So like, what happened? Maybe it's happened time and again where we get to this point, this pinnacle, and then for whatever reason, these idiots just put their hand on the fucking wheel, and we're like, don't do it. Don't do it again. And they look at us and they're like, and they just fucking turn the wheel, and then the ship sinks and we all drown. Hopefully not, but who knows? Maybe. Yeah. The world already ended with the dinosaurs, and we are the post-apocalyptic monsters. Isn't that kind of twisted way of looking at it, isn't it? That's kind of fucked, though. Maybe that might be the case, man. Look at the power that we wield, though, right? Like, look at what we can do to the world. Yeah. Whole USO thing is a cool connection to Arrow starting. It's not off-world tech, but maybe it's on-world tech from under the ocean. Yeah, maybe it's the sea people. Maybe it's the Atlanteans, right? Maybe the sea people will open up the craft. All this water will just spill out, and they'll just be there suffocating, right, with no water. Maybe there'll be seamen. There'll be seamen, sea people. Who knows? On all of like a lot of fantasy depictions, the Atlanteans are like mermaid people, mermen and shit. There was that recent movie with Jason Momoa. They're all mermen and shit, mermaids. I don't know about that though. I don't know about that movie either, but yeah. Anyway, I'll fucking read the goddamn paper. Beneath the surface, we may learn more about UAP by looking in the ocean. Let's see. The introduction. I think we just read the introduction, didn't we? Yes, I think we did. The human mind enjoys impressive visions of unearthly creatures. Now then, the sea is precisely their best medium. With its untold depths, couldn't the sea keep alive such huge specimens of life from another age? This sea that never changes while the land masses undergo almost continuous alteration. Couldn't the heart of the ocean hide the last remaining varieties of titanic species for whom years are centuries and centuries millennia? Jules Verne. Is Godzilla out in the ocean somewhere? Who knows? So we read through the executive summary, A New Reality. Let me just go through here. Beneath the surface. Okay, so this is the introduction. Beneath the surface, the unknown ocean. Just got rethinking maritime security, the new scientific revolution, a call to action, conclusion, the final frontier. So I'll read through. We'll skim through a couple of them here, just because I'm curious about it. There's a documentary on Netflix with some scientists that did an autopsy to a mermaid. What the fuck? God damn, there's no evidence of extraterrestrial activity. God damn. Research and attention regarding UAP are almost entirely focused on their aerial occurrences. After all, and I don't know why I'm torching my eyes like this. Oh my God, we have technology. After all, the origins of much of today's public discussion on the phenomena live in 20th century reports of flying disc saucers. Yet instances of UAP at sea, whether under the surface or traveling transmedium, i.e. between the atmosphere and the ocean, are also known to occur. Perhaps the most widely publicized example of this was the above-mentioned Tic Tac UAP, described by the Super Hornet pilots to be hovering above rolling ocean whitewater during a training exercise in 2004. Yes, the whitewater may have indicated a large UAP above the surface. The most dramatic example of an apparent transmedium UAP is a video from Aguadilla, Puerto Rico, captured by the thermal imaging system on a U.S. Customs and Border Protection DHC-8 aircraft in 2013. Detailed analysis of the data by the Scientific Coalition of UAP Studies reveals several potentially unexplainable aspects of this object. It was initially detected moving at a low level over a runway at Rafael Hernandez Airport, where its presence was so prominent that it delayed the departure of a commercial flight. Over 3 minutes, the object appears to fly at speeds between 40 and 120 miles per hour, enter and exit the Atlantic Ocean without any significant deceleration, reach a maximum underwater velocity of 95 miles per hour, and at one point split into two parts before entering the water again. The SCU authors concluded that no known aircraft, naval vessel, projectile, or human-made technology possesses these characteristics or capabilities. Yeah, no shit. That's fucked. Although there have been consistent reports of undersea UAP and legislative acknowledgement of them, the literature on this subject is sparse and unsystematic. There are only a handful of books and scattered accounts by largely non-professional researchers, in contrast with the hundreds, perhaps thousands of books published about UAP sightings in the sky. The third chapter of early ufologist Coral and Jim Lorenzin's UFOs over the Americas, titled Underwater UFOs, may have been the first modern text on the topic, while Ivan Sanderson's Invisible Residence appeared to be the first book dedicated to USOs. 4 decades later, Carl Fent provided a thorough compendium of cases involving UAP and water in his work UFOs and Water. More specific studies of transmedium UAP and USOs include a chronicle of eyewitness accounts off the coast of Southern California and Preston Dennett's sensationally titled yet compelling Undersea UFO Base, an in-depth investigation of USOs in the Santa Catalina Channel, the extensive investigation by Chris Stiles of a 1960 USO encounter in Shelbourne Harbor, Nova Scotia. Shout out to everybody on the fucking East Coast, and the recent research conducted by John and Gerald Tedesco and Donna L. Nardo of the southern coast of Long Island. Rather than exploring a single event or region, Debbie Ziegelmeyer in a recent book provides a wide-ranging review of USOs and UAP near water. Forthcoming book by popular UAP historian Richard Dolan presents the most exhaustive examination to date, documenting over 600 cases between 1711 and 2022. He draws from the Mutual UFO Network's Case Management System database, a National UFO Reporting Center, and other studies, including those mentioned above. So lots of very accredited people have taken this topic very seriously. There's been lots of good research done over the years by many great journalists, authors, researchers. So again, it's one of those things that when you hear people from these debunking spaces try and take a giant shit over all of this. It's just nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. There's been tons of good research done on the topic by lots of great researchers over the years. It's some of the works mentioned here, in particular to the USOs. Stanton Friedman was kind of my go-to guy. He was the guy I rooted for because he lived around where I lived, and I think he's one of the OGs too, right? Like, so Richard Dolan is another one that's cropped up, and he knew Stanton, and he was involved. I think he may have even co-authored a book. I can't recall. There was a couple books where he had contributed. They'd all contributed to the research. But yeah, PR videos available. Oh, interesting. Yes, I don't know about 1960 Nova Scotia things. Oh, looked like right up discussed in 22 Shag Harbor. Okay, interesting. Oh, here we go. Here it is. Here, nice. Well, just to get some context, yeah, I'll pull it up and we'll watch it. French ads here. Are we Quebecois now? Oh no, we're bilingual, right? God damn it. I keep forgetting. Whoops. Oof. Yeah, there we go. Qu'est-ce que fuck? C'est bon. I've heard you just say c'est bon. C'est bon. That's all you need to say. Go anywhere, go in Quebec, you say c'est bon. Someone just told me that today. I said that's fucking pretty much right. Here's the object here in question. The strange thing being tracked. I think Mick West thinks this is a fly or something, like a bug close to the lens, which is why the camera is panning so far over. And it's not like there aren't millions of bugs flying in front of the camera lens every fucking day. Yeah. This is an actual object as far as I'm aware, Crimsix. It was an actual object that was sighted, I believe. As Tim had mentioned in his article, this held up the airport for, I think he said 40 minutes, was it? Yeah, I know, right? It's the thing. You think they know if it was a fucking bug. It's like they're only relying on this one video. They don't have like sensors. They didn't instantly turn all their satellites onto the fucking object as soon as it created a fucking problem. It's the naivety. But like, oh, well, it's just this one camera. Oh, bro, come on. They got satellites tracking the entire planet at all fucking times. You know what's really weird about this object though when you look at it? There are times when I've watched this video and you watch it like right about, well, now it's into the fucking water, but before it dived, it looks like some of these objects we're seeing in Mexico where there's like this woman or this thing sitting in a chair. I think we've seen these videos before. I mean, some of them are definitely hoaxed, but these reports there's quite a few of them where it almost looks like some person sitting in this chair. It looks like Frieza, for people that are familiar with Dragon Ball Z. Like Frieza when he sat in his chair and he floated over to Goku. That's kind of what it looked like. Let's just fucking hope this isn't Frieza and the Ginyu Force. That'd be fucking... you imagine the Ginyu Force just lands on fucking White House lawn? I think Joe Biden might just fucking blow his load, actually. He kind of like that. And there it goes. Well, that's true, maybe. He can dribble it, did you? He can dribble it. Oh, fuck, makes me fucking sick even thinking about that. Anyway. Here, I'll go back to the... There. See that now? Just split into two. Two freezes. Yeah. Man. Shit gives the impression it's like a bag of balloons or something. Yeah, kind of. No, this was off the coast of Puerto Rico. Yeah. This was another video. This was a bit of a lesser known one, but it's old. I see arguably some of the best UFO footage ever filmed. It's very interesting. So I think we watched it here before. I'm pretty sure I've watched it on here before. I've seen it many times before. It's talked about a lot because of the fact that it went into the water, out of the water, and then the fact that it split into two was the trippy part. But maybe there's some kind of physics explanation. Maybe there's some mirroring that's going on. Maybe there's some kind of effect that it's having in its local environment that's causing it to appear like it's appearing in two places at the same time. It might not actually, in fact, be in two places, but I'm sure there's some kind of like logical explanation for it. But yeah, it's very interesting. And we'll go back to the article here. Two contrasting examples are useful in conveying the types of potentially unexplainable phenomena that have been encountered at sea. Let's see. So Stiles details in his book the aforementioned U.S.-Canadian joint minesweeping exercise off Shelburne Harbor, Nova Scotia in 1960. The author interviewed several Royal Canadian Navy divers who participated in the exercise and claimed to have observed two disc-shaped craft on the seabed. Furthermore, the divers claimed they not only saw the occupants of the two craft trying to repair one of them, but also recorded underwater footage of this extra-vehicular activity. It is only after the recent U.S. military UAP whistleblower testimony that the story seems credible. Less exotic. I'm actually not familiar with that incident. Are you familiar with that incident, Hendricks? It may also only look like it's going in water. Could be just whips of cloud going behind it. Yeah, that could very well be the case. I was not familiar with that account. The Shelburne Harbor account. Less exotic. Yeah. Is that something you're familiar with? I was not familiar with that account. Yeah. Less exotic, and I live very close to there. But just as interesting in the first UFO report. In the underwater UFO chapter, the Lorenzians UFOs over the Americas, originally documented by U.S. Merchant Marine Officer J.R. Boulder in 1952. The case involves the crew of U.S. Navy ship exiting the Arabian Gulf through the Strait of Hormuz. While underway at night, they came upon a luminous area of the ocean, 1,000 to 1,500 feet in width, that simultaneously rotated and pulsated. The effect was, Bodler wrote, weird and impressive in the extreme, with the vessel seeming to occupy the center of a huge pinwheel whose spokes consisted of phosphorescent luminance revolving rapidly around the vessel of a hub. The Lorenzans included this account of the chapter on underwater UFOs because Boulder called it an unexplained phenomenon. Some guy was looking into it, something, and stumbled on it and delved deeper and dug up some info from government military. Interesting. Imagine seeing that, especially underwater, murky water. Just two fucking saucers and these fucking guys just working on the saucers, the aliens. It'll be the worst environment to run into an alien, probably underwater. You'd feel so helpless. Maybe if their natural habitat was in water too, it'd be even worse. Subsequent research has shown that the phenomena has a more down-to-earth explanation. Bioluminescent organisms excited by near-surface turbulence. I have seen this occurrence firsthand in the exact same body of water at night. The geometric pattern of the luminous pinwheels take their form from turbulent vortexes generated by tidal circulation in the strait. This serves to remind us that prosaic explanations for phenomena should always be considered to avoid jumping to conclusions about alien craft. Yeah, but that's no fun though, Tim. It's way funner to think like, no, bro, like that fucking vortex there, UFO started it, right? USO started it, but that's what it did. So, fucking interesting. It's, man, I've seen it in Australia. I've seen some of the videos down there. They've got like, when all the algae or whatever the fuck it is, comes together and creates it. Like it's a bucket list thing to experience that, honestly. Very interesting. I'm curious, like this obviously is posted in the Discord. Everyone wants to read it, in further detail. Giving us 2 cents on maritime security, the new scientific revolution. People are starting to finally take this stuff seriously. What's his a call to action? Open scientific study of aerial UAP has been progressing for decades. Now that the U.S. Congress and a rising tide of new organizations are aiming to decipher the enigma of these anomalies, America may be better positioned than ever before to understand what exactly is in the sky. Not so in Neptune's realm. Ooh, no matter how much is learned about UAP in the atmosphere, a complete understanding of anomalous phenomena will remain hidden absent dedicated research in our largely unknown oceans. Without gazing into the abyss, one will never know if the abyss does indeed return the gaze. And are they hiding in the oceans? Is that where they're hanging out? Because they know we don't know anything about them. Is the 4chan leaker, was he telling the truth? I suppose he'd probably be dead now if he was, because he said he was dying of liver cancer, and that was like over a year ago. So, he was terminal, I think. So, in that account, of course, he shared that around Bermuda, there is a giant base where a lot of the UFOs are crafted. There's a facility that makes them. And that they're essentially disposable vehicles, hence why we've recovered so many of them. That if they have any incidents, they fall off, they break down, they just kind of make more. And they just leave. Even the pilots in that account, the 4chan account, even the pilots had sometimes just been left. The body's just been left there, which is interesting. Maybe the bodies are something that is disposable as well. Something to consider, you know? Something to consider. Here's the article, and the guy, remember, Styles. Here's a link to try and see if you all can see it. Interesting. I'll click on it. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, just a second, pal. I'm just gonna let you in to go see your mom. 1 second. No. 1. Saltwire.com. Okay. If I was to hide on Earth somewhere, I'd probably be underwater. Well, man, yeah, me too. I mean, if you're going to hide from us, go to the place that we haven't explored. Really, right? Same with like people record crazy sightings and stuff, or has had serious encounters with these objects in like Alaska, mountain ranges, very remote areas. There's a mountain range in Alaska that's notorious for UAP activity. And remote viewers, actually, that were tasked there, some of the good, like OG remote viewers that were studied scientifically to the best that I guess you could study remote viewing scientifically, had claimed there were bases in these mountains and that actually humans were in there too, working with the aliens. That's potentially what got Pat Price killed. We'll talk about that a little bit later here because there's a video, an interview with a remote viewer. So I'm interested to see what that's about. But yeah. UFO researcher, it's starting to look like Shelburne is going to give the Shag Harbor story a run for its money. Oh shit, do I have to become a member maybe? Oh, I do. Fuck you. If you do not know what your email is, file, click here. Oh, that's annoying. This is a gentleman here, I guess, that wrote it. Okay, see where the URL is. Click the symbol before the HTTP, then select site settings and scroll down and click block Java. Let's see. Yeah, symbol before the HTTP, then select site settings. Site settings. And then block Java. Block Java. Okay. And then reset. Oh, you're smart. There we go. Chris Stiles. Here's Chris here. Renowned Nova Scotia UFO researcher Chris Stiles talks to people on tour. The Shag Harbor incident. Interesting. My work and the work of those who followed me certainly resurrected the case, and it's now considered Canada's most important UFO case. It's a compelling argument for UFO reality remains such. There was nothing controversial about the witnesses or sources of the documents that other cases like Roswell might have. On October 4, 1967, multiple witnesses, including RCMP officers, saw an unidentified flying object around 60 foot in diameter, same size as Bob Lazar's craft, with flashing lights splashed down into the waters of Shag Harbor after flying across the horizon. There were no missing aircraft, and an extensive military search could not resolve the case, which remains open and unsolved. During the course of the Shag Harbor investigation, Stiles had the opportunity to talk with Navy divers who had dove in the waters off Shag Harbor where witnesses saw the UFO crash. I would talk to them about Shag Harbor, and then they said, well, do you know about Shelburne, he says. It was October 12, 1960, and 8 Canadian and 10 U.S. warships were at the mouth of Shelburne Harbor participating in a mine-sweeping training mission. The divers said that When they dove in the water at the mouth of the Shelburne Harbor on this mining sweeping training mission, they claimed they encountered 2 UFOs in the bottom and live aliens in the water. Although the divers remembered details, they didn't remember the date and names of the ships. I was looking for the answer for 29 years and never thought I'd get it, said Stiles, until last year when he says he came up with the evidence. Stiles was about to get a copy of the logbook for the HMCS Cape Scott, which was the command ship of the mission. When I finally got the logbook for the Cape Scott, I saw when they started doing their training about an hour and in everything went to hell. The ship's log order assume DEFCON 1, signaling the outbreak of nuclear warfare. Supposedly that's never happened in history. That's nuclear war. This is right in the ship's log, not an internet rumor. Interesting. Stiles spoke about his Shelburne UFO incident research at a UFO expo held in Yarmouth last year. Over the years, people had tried to connect the Shelburne incident with the Shake Harbor incident, says Stiles. I never agreed with this interpretation, he says. In 2022, I came up with the evidence of the document that it was a separate case 7 years earlier. It's still early days in the investigation. I'm learning more and more about it every day. Since releasing the book he's written, Sweep Clear 5 NATO's UFOs Encounters, Stiles says the book has been well received. Interesting. Well, very interesting. Yes. Hell yeah, man. You should really reach out to people like this and try to get them on. Would be a lot easier, probably. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and I could even go there too. You could host the event, right, Train Beast? he could come over and sleep in your bed, right? I would share a bed with what's his name? Chris. Me and Chris could share. You wouldn't mind giving up your bed for the night? Fucking right. Yeah, absolutely. Very knowledgeable on this topic, obviously. As someone who's residing in the Canadian East Coast, I should be more familiar with some of these incidents. I know more about incidents from far and away. Yes, that's I definitely need to, Rabbit, actually. Yeah. I forgot to make a Twitter post that I was going live, actually. So I don't know how many people are here from Twitter watching, potentially. Maybe a couple people. Yeah, I know. I'm just so bad with this stuff. But anyway, if anyone's here from Twitter, listen, don't be shy. Feel free to chat. I'm sorry if you've chatted already and I've missed it. I know Restream. I should really carry this chat over to the left side of my screen. Anyway, I'll get on to that. Yeah. Very cool though. Very interesting. Again, I'll read through this in its entirety later, but for people that are just reading now, Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet. Did I fucking say it? Retired U.S. Navy PhD. This contributed this to the Soul Foundation recently, so cool. Very cool stuff. What else do I have up here, actually? Some other schizo things before I get into, like, properly schizo stuff. Lou is trying to tell us something extremely profound. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Oh, I see. Lou, this is some occult shit here. Lou drew this image here. Make of a man and a woman a circle, then a quadrangle. Out of this a triangle. Make again a circle. And you will have the stone of the wise. Thus is made the stone, which thou canst not discover unless you, through diligence, learn to understand this geometrical teaching. Oh my heavens. Quadrangle. Dangle. Dangle from your quadrangle. What is he trying to say here? Now explain it to me like I have a college degree in math and physics. Philosopher's Stone on Wikipedia, someone linked. There you fucking go. Is that what this is actually about? Like, is this actually not a meme? Okay, no, all right. Renaissance, early modern period. The Swiss alchemist Paracelsus believed in the existence of Alkahest, which he thought to be an undiscovered element from which all other elements were simply derivative forms. Paracelsus believed that this element was in fact a philosopher's stone. The The English philosopher Sir Thomas Browne, in his spiritual testament, Religio Medici, identified the religious aspect of the quest for the Philosopher's Stone when declaring, "The smattering I have of the Philosopher's Stone, which is something more than the perfect exhalation of gold, hath taught me a great deal of divinity. The squared circle, an alchemical symbol illustrating the interplay of the four elements of matter, symbolizing the Philosopher's Stone." Could be a cool tattoo idea, actually. Put that on your forehead or something. 10,000 fucking sub challenge. Jim tattoos this on his forehead, right in the fucking middle of my forehead. Right? Fuck yeah. Enlightened. Hashtag enlightened. God damn it. More smack, like literally in the middle, like right there. It was like my third eye opening up, right? That would be the most painful fucking thing. Oh God. I could get it like teardrops of it down my face, maybe. I'd look hard as fuck. I don't know what was Lou getting at with this. This some shit. Did Lou just fucking get done reading the last Harry Potter book? Or was it the first one? Harry Potter. No, it's the first one. Yeah. Right. I don't know. What's it about, Lou? What's it about? Oh, me. God bless, sir. Thank you. God bless. Let's go into the tattoo fund. Truly interesting. Truly enigmatic. What does it mean? Speaking of enigmas. Mysterious island in Siberia. I saw this. I don't know if this is anything of any importance. It looked cool. In the mountains of Tuva, at an altitude of 1,300 meters, there is a unique lake, Terra Cole. The fact is that in the center of the water surface, there is an island of almost an ideal rectangular shape. And on the island, there is a fortress and occupies 3.3 hectares. It was once a grandiose structure with temples, warehouses, living quarters, and walls 25 meters high. Even today, the preserved walls reach a height of 8 meters. I have never heard of this before, but it's very interesting. I don't know how old it is. The North remembers. Oh, fuck. I don't know how old it is, but it's extremely, extremely intriguing. Obviously, it may have made construction. I'd actually clicked on this. This is something else I saw. The Inga Stone, located in Brazil. This captivating archaeological wonder dates back over 6,000 years. I don't know how they came to that conclusion. And is adorned with an abundance of enigmatic symbols. Despite extensive global scientific endeavors to decode its meaning, this stone continues to be a perplexing mystery. Well, is there anything on here we can decode? What we do know is that it showcases characters reminiscent of Egyptian, Phoenician, and Sumerian scripts, resembling the eastern island Rongorongo, and predominantly featuring symbols from Gnostic language, the oldest and rarest known to humanity. Is there a close-up of this? Interesting. Just doodles by someone. I mean, people do tend to doodle. I'd love to see. Well, actually, we can do this. We can look up. We have the power of the internet. Inga Stone HD. Let's take a look. Here we are, right here. Look through all the symbols. See if there's anything. Any crosses? No. Oh, 6 dots. Got some swirls. Interesting. How did they figure out that it's 6,000 years old, though? I don't... You do have to kind of push back on that a little bit, because when I was reading through... I was reading about dendrochronology, and I was reading a little book on the history of dendrochronology. And dendrochronology is the study of tree rings. And that we were using tree rings to try and map out the climate in the past. So what they were doing was very interesting. They were able to carbon date trees. Obviously, it's organic material. And it's pretty rough, right? I mean, carbon dating is not super precise. But what you could do is you could get an idea of how old certain trees are in an area. And then what you can do is, if they're large enough, the trees, you could look through their rings and find deviations, right, in growth patterns. And you can then match those growth patterns up with other older trees. So it's almost like tagging together all of these different periods of time. So let's say you get a tree that it's 2,000 years old, right? So okay, we get this 2,000-year-old tree. We're able to study its tree rings. We can then study how the climate has varied the last 2,000 years. Then what you do is through radiocarbon dating, you able to go back and you get this tree that's 4,000 years old, and it lived for 2,000 years. So it matches up the last ring matches up with the first ring on this 2,000-year-old tree. And you can stitch together these trees to kind of create this loose understanding of changes in the climate, really. Which is extremely interesting. And I was interested in doing that because there was an event that happened roughly 3,600 years ago in the Mediterranean when the volcano around Thera blew up. And that may have coincided with the Exodus out of Egypt. And that may have coincided with a large comet appearing in the sky. So anyway, that's why I was reading about it. But that's something that they can nail down pretty well. There's still a bit of variance there, I believe, but in regards to stone, you can't radiocarbon date stone. So I don't know how they came to the conclusion it's 6,000 years old. Just an assumption, maybe. Is it obsolete? It gives you an idea, though. Yes. Yeah. I don't know if there's a more recent way of dating things. I don't know, War Drinker. I'm not involved in any of these sciences. I've just been like looking and reading with them from a distance, but just curious. I'm not really familiar with the site. It's always interesting to see. Oh, I thought for a second she was carving something into that fucking stone. Oh man, I have to confess, when we went to the Southwest, I don't know if I still have this picture on my phone or not. Obviously, I didn't do this in an area where there were petroglyphs, but like there's petroglyphs. There's petroglyphs all over the higher parts of the stones. So we were in the Red Rock Canyon. I'll look this up. And I should say I wasn't necessarily part of this. My buddy went. One of the stones where you walk in, there was nothing on it. He put 316. Fucking carved it into the stone. People that don't know that, everyone who grew up with wrestling knows what 316 is from and who it's from. I just thought that. I still got it on my phone now. It's like, holy fuck. People in like 1,000 years will look and they'll be like, 316, what could this mean, right? Stone Cold Steve Austin. But Red Rock Canyon here in Nevada. There's petroglyphs on these rocks. And I think it was the Hopi. Maybe the Hopi. Anyway. Absolutely brilliant. And also very old as well. Again, I don't know how we know that. Yes, it is a religious connotation too. Yes, Hendrix. Yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah. In my mind, I instantly think of Stone Cold every single time though. But this is a really cool spot. Really awesome national park in Nevada. Really trippy. Like you drive it in there, it looks like you're going to Mars. But whoop your ass. Yeah, that's exactly the line. Yeah. Oh, sorry. It's Austin 316. It's a meme. Yeah. It says I'll whoop your ass. Yeah. Oh fuck. Yeah. But anyway, very interesting shit. Where's the actual? Oh fuck, I lost it. All right. There was also the golf dude in the 80s. The Immovable Life of John 316 Sports Guy. What the hell? Is this actually a meme? Oh my god. Okay, interesting. Yeah. Said that after he annihilated Jake the Snake. I remember it well. Oh, really? Fuck yeah. Oh god. Oh. Such a meme. What I wanted to look at now, actually, well, this is another post, which is just before this. That Aero and DoD just publicly admit that the U.S. is full anti-gravity craft that can silently travel 4,000 miles per hour without a sonic boom without any air disturbance. This is posted 23 hours ago. An interviewee who was a former U.S. service member said that in 2009, while participating in a humanitarian and security mission in a foreign country, he encountered U.S. Special Forces loading containers. Oh, this is Stephen Greer. Yeah, okay. I remember this. This is a Stephen Greer's fucking meeting. This is a... So the black government is doing human trafficking, drug trafficking with alien saucers, essentially. TLDR. Yeah. It was like a fixture. What the fuck? God. Yeah, interesting. I don't know about this claim. It's hard to say for me. Maybe. Maybe. One of those things you hope not. Again, it's not. It's, you run into these stories over the years of military personnel or like privately contracted military personnel working with what looks like alien technology. There have been people, I remember to get into here's remote viewing. There have been remote viewers again who have seen this supposedly, and it's always been problematic for them. In Pat Price's case, potentially ended up getting him killed. Right? Someone should really do a fucking proper documentary on Pat Price and what the fuck happened to him. So what happened was he wasn't that old. He was in his like mid 50s, I guess, which isn't old at all, really objectively. So he had a heart attack, which again, you can have a heart attack really anytime, but supposedly later on there was some Russian hitman that admitted to killing some U.S. psychic in a hotel room in Las Vegas, and he put like, was it he poisoned them. He jabbed them with pufferfish poison or something like that. It gave him a heart attack. Anyway, but Pat Price had been speaking openly about this session that he did where he remote viewed this human alien base in Alaska where they were working together, and Ingo Swann had warned him not to talk about it because some of the stuff they were getting they thought was potentially problematic just because of that relationship, and that potentially that'd be a big no-no. Anyway, maybe just a coincidence, but as someone who loves Woo, CIA Stargate spy, remote viewing ancient Egypt, aliens and space warfare. Did they break it up? Oh, good lad. He did break it up. So I'll go through the introduction, and I will then probably skip around to, I'm just going to quickly go through this. Off-world remote viewing. Our CIA remote viewing program still active. Anthrax antidote. Torn image. Cartel. Okay. Well, let's see what this is all about. I don't know. Why not?
I have a genetic break that I am one of those guys that does not respond to hallucinogens.
Really?
Big disappointment.
Wow.
I mean, I grew up in the
sucks.
60s, so, you know.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Not even weed?
No, weed? What are you talking about? That's like
marijuana edibles or nothing like that?
THC, God, no, you know?
Wow.
But I'm talking about LSD.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm talking about LSD. I'm talking about ayahuasca.
Mushrooms.
MDMA, mushrooms, nothing. You know, nothing. Oh, I might, this, it's so subtle, it's difficult to tell if it's the effect of the hallucinogenic or if it's just
placebo.
Me wanting it to be the effect of the hallucinogenic. So colors on occasion seem to look a little bit brighter, but it's such a
high tolerance
disappointment, you know?
I've heard people say
showed up
this.
to the
Sorry,
podcast
I just
with-
right at the fucking start. I've heard people mention this actually where my buddies liked using acid years ago. And that was all they ever got out of it. Because obviously I was someone who's very interested in psychedelics. And I was like, well, what are you seeing? Because like my idea of psychedelics is someone who's like reading about DMT and lucid dreaming and astral projection was like, you take LSD and then you're like in this other fucking world. But my buddy was like, yeah, no, I every time I take it, I look down to the ground. There's just these cool geometric patterns, but then I go to sleep. And I'm like, so I was like, that's not worth fucking taking Jim Bob's acid out of the bathtub. Personally, I'm like, I think I'll just wait. And then, yeah, I just didn't. Yeah. God. That's me too. I tried some hallucinogens, but they didn't do anything to me. I think it's because I have synesthesia. So my brain is already tripping. The door can't open if it's already open. She's the production of a sense impression relating to one sense or part of the body by stimulation of their. Oh, interesting. That's really. It sounds like something I might fucking have too, actually.
16 cans of energy drinks, bro. We got about 2,000 milligrams of caffeine sitting on the table right now for those of you out there watching. Are we recording yet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
We're talking really fast, both of us.
Yeah, we're fired up today.
But hey, we're drinking goat fuel.
We're drinking goat fuel, and I'm drinking goat fuel, and I'm drinking this stuff. This is the first time I've ever had kratom.
Yeah,
White rabbit
careful how
kratom.
you say that.
My buddy Egon sent me this stuff. I've never had kratom before, but I'm going to see how it works because I didn't get any sleep last night, as I told you.
Yeah, I know.
Well, with all this remote viewing stuff, have we been able to figure out, can we use that remote viewing to figure out who built the pyramids?
No.
Damn it.
Because you don't have any empirical evidence. You only have anecdotal evidence. I mean, could you get a team of remote viewers together and work that in the blind as a target? Yes, you absolutely could, but it has to be done correctly. You have to have a team. They have to be isolated or insulated from the target or the target data or the purpose of the target, and they just get a limited target briefing. And so in the blind, either CRV or ERV, they do their work. They capture their sketches, so they have verbal, visual, sensory data that they perceive, and they can have, in a good session with a trained viewer, they can have upwards, if they go all the way through stage 6, they can have 45 to 65 pages of data.
Wow.
And so they can have several hundred or exceed, pushing 2,000 data points. And then the process is trying to take the data points of all the viewers and see how those cluster together, because what you're trying to get is you're trying to get patterns established. You're going to see clusters of data that match, and then you're going to see highs and lows and outliers that they're still counted as data, but you give them less statistical significance. And when you put that picture together, then there has to be a program manager, which is typically me these days, sitting down and assembling the data to create the picture. So when you see what we're doing on History Channel, on Beyond Skinwalker, you're now seeing what are called enhanced aggregate sketches and all those kinds of things, because we're taking the sketches and the components that are coming from all the viewers, and the producers are looking at it with me and going, yeah, this, and yeah, like we want that, and this one is meaningful to us. Because let's face it, not everybody is a good artist, even as a remote viewer. Some are far better than others, and it's always the ones that are good sketch artists that, people perk up and look at. But having been a guy that's taught so many people for so many years, I look at them all and see value in all of them. And I don't care if somebody is able to draw a very elaborate, box, and somebody else can barely draw a square. I mean, to me, as an evaluator, an analyst in that respect, they work. But now what we're doing, so that we don't have individual viewers laying claim to what shows up on air, because that is not what I want done. I don't want that, and they do that. So if they see the show airs, they're firing up the social media and going, right here at 16:29, that's my sketch. It was a group effort. It was a team of 70 viewers or a team of 35 viewers, and everybody provides valuable input. So it's important just to understand how we're doing and what we're doing it, and understand that with that, we can give a lot of really good information. And in this case, with Beyond Skinwalker Ranch, it ends up being information that they really like, because it gives them an answer, even if it's, right? If it's an anecdotal answer or a team-derived answer or a visual, because they have so many unknowns there when they're doing this research. Like, why is that happening? I don't understand that. This gives their viewing audience at least some version of what it might be. We're not.
Well, and even for the team that's involved in researching what's going on, I mean, those anecdotal bits and pieces could potentially lead them towards a better hypothesis as to what's happening, and that could orient them in a better direction as to like, well, what should we be doing to try and figure this out, right? So I think the anecdotal evidence absolutely has its place, right? And these intuitions they might gather from this anecdotal evidence. So I think it's extremely valuable to the team themselves. I mean, in regards to this particular venture, I don't know. the place is pretty anomalous, right? Beyond Skinwalker is the show, I think, that they go to all these other sites, and I don't know. I mean, listen, if you're trying to like make money with remote viewing, you got to fucking do something. You got to remote view the crypto markets. You got to remote view some fucking woo. You got to do something. The pyramid question is an interesting one, obviously, where I've heard some people task it, but I don't know. I mean, what are people looking for? I think what people that go in watching these videos, what they're looking for is, and I get this silver disc and it's moving the stones out of the ground with a tractor beam. And it's, but that isn't necessarily what people got. If I forget who did it, if it was Daz from the Crypto Remote Viewers or somebody had some video on it. It was effectively just a large group of people building the pyramids. And I think there was something weird, if I can recall. There was like some there was machinery of some kind going on. There was some kind of automation happening, but it wasn't like tractor beams and shit. So yeah,
Not ever going to say it's accurate or I mean that it's absolute or that's what it is.
Yeah,
We're
it
saying
doesn't pass the scientific method, but it's still fascinating.
it is fascinating, and it won't let you down as long as you follow the rules of it. It won't. So
I just got to imagine if I was you and I had spent decades in these top secret remote viewing programs, I would have wanted to know who built those pyramids and how can we at least go out and get some anecdotal sketches or just like, let's just get 5% there to the answer, even if we can't get the full scientifically proven, answer.
Sure.
I gotta get a fucking ad blocker, 15-second ad. Well, and I think people have gotten 5% there, though. I think that's the thing, but that's not going to be enough. Once you're at 5%, like
You assemble a team.
Do you know how do you decide how far back in time you go? You assemble a team. And
It's all based on your concept. So it's all based on if I'm playing program manager, it's up to me to establish. Remember the event arc of time we did in our last? Okay,
absolutely.
It's up to me to establish where that center line is in the event arc, where that main event point is. So and you also have to remember,
You have to pick a specific place and time.
yes, you can look across the arc, but the broader your target, the broader the timeline, the more scattered will be the data, because different viewers will start to access and perceive information along a different signal line anchored to a different piece of that event arc of time.
Okay.
So some of them may see it when they're laying a foundation. Others may see it when they're laying the top corner stone on or something else. So you need to pinpoint to a specific time, make that your concept, and make it very strong. And that's how you assign the coordinates. They are based on the concept of the target in the mind of the individual assigning those coordinates.
So if you picked a target of, say, 20,000 years ago on the Giza Plateau, at where the Great Pyramid of Giza is located right now, you would be able to hold that in your mind and somehow aim these targeters, or you're the targeter, but you would aim the viewers towards this specific time and location, and then they would come back to you with scattered data. It may not land on exactly 20,000 years ago. Some of them might be 15,000 years ago, or
Yeah, exactly. That's the theory of how it works.
And what do you tell them specifically?
What you tell them, especially when you're doing it in the blind and you have them isolated, you give them a target briefing, and you will say, if you have a really experienced remote viewing group, they've gone through CRV, ERV, and they have years of targets under their belt. You could give them kind of a limited front load, and what that means is you could say, this target is backwards in time. You don't want to do that to new viewers because it starts their imagination rolling and they cannot get out of the way. They will run over themselves throughout the entire session because backwards in time, So then they immediately start going to period costume and other stuff. You have to be careful with it. It's why the isolation, working in the blind, limited front loads to only experienced viewers, or if there's a purpose in giving a limited front load, but something like that. And I think 20,000 miles will put you back in the dirt. I don't think anybody
20,000 years.
20,000 years. I don't think anybody was there at that time. So, I mean, we're only talking about 4,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago.
That's when they think that they were built.
Debatable,
20,000 years ago?
No, they think they were built 2,500 BC.
Oh, okay. Well,
but
it could go back that far. I don't know. Maybe he should remote view back then and see what he gets. There are some other structures potentially. It's not going to end Padang, or is it? That just went back to 25,000 years. The base part of the pyramid is the carbon dating was 25,000 years ago. Of the construction. So, fuck. It's just like
I don't know how
that's what
deep you've dove into it, but I've had people
4,500 years ago.
So that's like the academic accepted Egyptologist theory on it. But we don't have any evidence. The only tools that we have evidence for 2,500 BC is stone chisels and pounding stones. So there's another hypothesis that a lot of really smart archaeologists and historians and researchers have come up with that those things are far older and they existed before 12,900 years ago, when there was a cataclysm, either solar, or it was either a solar.
Okay, oh, Jesus. Sometimes I struggle with this guy and his fucking. There's not a lot of accredited archaeologists that are behind that theory, which is the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis. Stop listening to me, fucking my phone, Siri, Jesus Christ. That is not a well established, but it potentially they preceded that, and that is mainly revolving around Robert Schoch's interpretation of the Sphinx at the Giza Plateau. That he, from looking at the weathering, concluded that it has to be at least 9,000 years old. Because the amount of weathering that it has on it is only from rainfall. And the last time it rained, we know in the Giza Plateau like that was about 9,000 years ago. So then just from the weathering alone on it, we know that that the Sphinx at the very least has to be at least 9,000 years old, in his opinion. And others have come along and supported that conclusion. Geologists, although many of the scholarly academics, right, the Egyptologists still disagree with that. But that is what pushed it back. And then Graham Hancock and Robert Bauval are who moved. Here, I'll put the music in the background. It feels naked without some background music. There we go. It got tied in the Orion correlation, and the Orion correlation is also something that's heavily debated. But that the Giza Plateau matched up identically to the configuration of Orion's belt around that time period. So that's where the 12,900 year correlation comes from. And again, Robert Raval's an engineer, Graham's a journalist, John Anthony West was an independent researcher in Egypt who also contributed to that theory, I believe. And John Anthony West was who brought Robert Schoch. He's the guy who brought him out to Egypt to begin with. So, not something that people are, a lot of the academic community are necessarily, at least officially, on board with. But I would bet that's the case personally. There's too many strange correlations at that time period as well. Leo was rising directly in line with the Sphinx, and it's pretty obvious that the Sphinx was just a lion, and a pharaoh later recarved his face into it. So Leo pointing at the Sphinx directly at this time period, the Orion correlation also, the entire site being extremely anomalous, more than likely sitting around that date or older, right? There's another time period as well that lines up about 20,000 years ago, which is, I think, where Danny got that idea, but it wasn't there 20,000 years ago. So, but I mean, this gentleman, I don't know his name actually. Did he put his name anywhere in the title? David Morehouse should know about Joe McMoneagle's remote viewing, because Joe's one of the big daddies of remote viewing. He should know that he remote viewed Mars. He remote viewed Mars a million years ago, and he did get some very compelling information, I argue, as to what the fuck happened there, and that he saw structures from this lost civilization, supposedly, which again, it is all anecdotal, right? And I'm just reading through. We're all objectively young. I've spoken to this gentleman on a couple occasions now who is turning 100 next month, and the guy is still driving around in his car. He has to retake his license every 2 months now, or something ridiculous. 2 or 3 months he has to go in and redo his license. Just they checking up on him, make sure he can still drive. He's turning 100, man. This guy, so he was a paratrooper in World War II. In 1943, he was 19 years old. He was in the UK. He's from Canada, and he literally just, I think I've told the story before, but he literally just built a cello, like carved it out of wood, the entire thing. And he handmade some of the tools you need to make the cello. I should have got him to forward me the pictures, because I didn't believe him. And then he showed me all of the pictures of him making it. I was like, who in the fuck? I was like, what the fuck have you been eating, man? 100 years old, perfectly with it. He was showing me he was showing me how he could take my legs out instantly. That he did jujitsu and shit back in the military in the 1940s. Like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, just come up to me. And he was showing me how you can still kick my knees out. I was like, holy fuck, bro. I was like, his name's George. I was like, George. I was like, God damn it. I was like, you can still kill me. He's like, I can still kill you. I was like, oh my God, wow. Crazy guy. I've never met somebody, honestly, over like 90 who is cognitively with it as him. You seriously would have thought he was in his 70s. He's perfectly fine. Perfectly there. Crazy. He spits a little bit. He spit a little bit. But other than that, I'm like, man, it's pretty good. Still driving around, still living his fucking life. Yeah, I think he's on like his third wife or something, he said. I'm like, Jesus Christ, yeah. Just crazy. Oh, that's me believing the moon landing. Did he look 100? No, man. He did not. He looked about like, I've seen people in their early 70s who looked as old as he did. He's pretty, he would be, I would wager they would probably only be like, oh, I don't know. There'd be less than 100 people on the planet like him right now, probably. If that, really, that are that old. Jumping out of fucking planes in World War II in 1943 at 19 years old, and he's still fucking kicking. You know, I think I may have mentioned this when I told this story before, but you know what the saddest things I asked him, I was like, George, I was like, so what's the biggest difference you notice in people between back then and now? And he said, people were kinder back then. He says, the thing I've noticed more than anything is people are way more closed off now. He said, you go up to somebody on the street and you try to just talk to them, they won't give you the time of day. He said, back in the day, if you walked up to somebody, you'd be able to strike up a conversation far easier. And I was like, fuck, that's sad. I was like, that's really sad. He's like, yeah. I was like, man. He had a fucking smartphone. Like, he was on his smartphone showing me fucking all the pictures and shit. I was like, give me your fucking genetics. Like, what in the fucking hell? Just an oddity. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, was he actually, man? Holy shit. Really? Yeah. So was George. Yeah. Yeah. Longevity manipulation of cells, Jim. I've kind of heard of it. Yeah, maybe there's something to it, man. Yeah. I mean, like what's the secret recipe for people like him though? And I did ask him, and he said a couple things. Actually, I don't think I mentioned this. I should carry this along. He said he never smoked, and there was another guy in too, actually, who was he was in his mid 80s, and this guy looked 60. So there was another guy who was a bit younger, but like I was asking him this as well, where I was like, how are you? Like, what the fuck? And both of them said they never smoked and they never drank. And they said they always ate well. They always exercised. And they kind of tried to maintain a low stress lifestyle. It's essentially what they both said, where they never really let shit get to them. Like they tried not to get too excessively stressed out, which, I mean, when you factor all those things together is kind of the recipe we know now for longevity, which is like, you know, don't excessively oxidize your cells, right? Through, smoking or alcohol or any other kind of poison. And then do things like exercise. And then again, stress is another oxidizer, which is terrible. Series about all people over 100 on D blue zones. All got them over the world. Pretty interesting. Also 593,000 centurions around the world. Oh, well then I'm very fucking wrong then. Is that really how many people there are? Oh, that's way more than I thought. That is astronomically higher than I thought. Wow. Now, how many of the centurions are driving around in their own cars still and making cellos on the weekend? I would hazard to guess still there aren't many of them. Again, I've run into a couple of them over the years, right, where we're from. And it's not no one even close to this guy. Again, I was telling him, I was like, man, like you should almost like be on the internet. Like, I don't know, like I just, because again, even with people like in their 90s, like you have a conversation. I remember when my nanny was around, she's 89, and you talk with her for a little while, and then, you know, you start off like, oh, how's your driver's test going? Oh, good, nanny, it's going good. And you'll be like, oh, I hear you're cooking food again. I'm like, yeah. And if you're like, okay, you still playing the guitar? I'm like, yeah. And then and after probably like 15 minutes, she's like, so how's your driver's test going? I'm like, oh, it's going good, nanny. And it's like, you heard you cooking food again. And so you go on this like, fucking Christ, you know, but anyway. And, like he was perfectly cognitive. Like he's 100% there. I've never encountered someone who's old like that, who didn't struggle at all, like was completely on beat. It's just really, it was awesome, honestly, just to talk to him about the war and stuff. Cause I'm not like a huge war buff, but like just the idea that he was 19 back in 1943 is so true. And like, he remembers it vividly. Like he says his short-term memory now isn't the greatest. That's what happens, but he still remembers everything that's happened in great detail. And I believe him because he was reiterating it all to me. So man, whole guitar, yeah. Man, I mean, not that many people, considering there is like 8 billion people. Well, I guess so, right? Yeah. Her donor who made me still alive, he'd be 100 this year. Oh shit, there you go. So who knows, Hendrix? I asked George. I was like, apparently George was telling me he's quite the ladies' man now. That's the other thing he's telling me too. Maybe he was around a little bit. Who knows? God damn it. But yeah, it's just a meme though, man. Oh, it'd be so fucking cool. I want to look up actually if Dave has any of his remote viewing targets. What he remote viewed for the Stargate program. Let's see. Don't see any. CIA, Psychic Warrior, Stargate. I think the Stargate's right here. Stargate Project. Okay. Series U.S. Army unit established in 1978 at Fort Meade, Maryland, by the Defense Intelligence Agency, investigating the potential for psychic phenomena. David Morehouse. Where is he? Here he is here. In his book, Psychic Warrior, inside the CIA Stargate program, the true story of soldiers' espionage and awakening, Morehouse claims to have worked on hundreds of remote viewing assignments, from searching for Soviet jet that crashed in the jungle, carrying an atomic bomb, to tracking suspected double agents. So maybe he's not as acquainted with some of the woo stuff. I don't know. It was like that, all there, but died about 90 years old, ovarian cancer, but she smoked her whole life. Oh, really? Yeah. It makes me wonder too, man, like nowadays the people that are like health and fitness nuts are like into all this like health and fitness woo, right? Taking all these crazy supplements and on these exercise regimens and whatnot. Like what it's actually going to do for us, so we understand health and fitness better, managing our stress levels better, preventing oxidation more. There's that crazy fucking guy. What's his name? He's this like vampire guy. YouTube vampire guy. Oh yeah, here we go. This fucking guy. What's his name? Oh my god. Brian something. YouTube Brian health guy. Oh, right here. Yes. Oh, it's like what's Christian Bale in the American Psycho. He reminds me of him big time. His morning routine and stuff, and like the whole deal. Wakes up to like red light therapy every morning. I'm like, he's drinking his son's blood or something. Why is spending millions to be 18 again? Like, oh god, Jesus. How long is he actually gonna live? It was funny. People were fucking, I guess, commenting on his videos. Like, there was a group of people just saying you're probably getting hit by a bus at like 50. I was like, holy fuck, that's such a dark thing to say to somebody trying to optimize their health. Like, you're just getting hit by a bus. I'm like, why the fuck would you say that? Oh, it's dark, very dark humor, but it's one of those things. It's like you spend all this money, millions of dollars to make yourself live forever. And then, yeah, you just step out of traffic one day with your fucking strawberry macchiato from Starbucks and boom, you're fucking gone, right? I say that to some of the guys I've been working with. They just eat like fucking shit. And I'm like, man, here I am eating all this fucking health food and stuff. And it's just going to be the fucking city bus that whips around the corner too fast and takes that old fucking gym. And it's here you are just eating KFC every fucking day and you're going to live to 85. It's like, you don't know, right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, you can be too fit, man. People with heart problems who exercise too much, actually. Going to the gym like 7 days a week is not a good idea. Even going to the gym like 5 days a week and working out really hard, which, I mean, I used to go to the gym a lot when I was younger. Like, I was like a fucking 7 day a week lifting weights all the fucking time. And you look all right, but like then the joint pain sets in. You're like, oh, my shoulder's kind of fucked. My knees are kind of fucked. My back's kind of fucked. It's called inflammation, which is what happens when you work out too much. Is everything gets inflamed, and then you don't give any time to rest and recover. So I think I'm not a fucking expert on any of this, by the way, at all. But from what I've heard, ideally it's like not as much exercise as you think. Like 3 days a week, like 30 minutes of cardiovascular work is really, if you're doing the cardiovascular work properly, that's kind of all you need to really be optimally healthy. Anything more than that is like obviously increasing your athletic performance, and you could probably make an argument that you could do a bit more to make your heart stronger, but yeah, it might just honestly cause more harm than good. Yeah, thanks for coming by, man. Sweet dreams as always. But yeah, fuck. Anyway, he creeps me the fuck out, man. He's doing a good thing. I mean, I love min-maxing and shit, right? My character here, I don't like track my macros like too intensely, but I do like, I have an interest in that. Like, I like feeling good, right? And so I like trying to understand how to maximize feeling better, and he's definitely contributing that, I think. But yeah, fuck, he does creep me out. Man, those eyes, just nothing behind those eyes. Am I the only one that sees that, or am I just like imagining something like that? There's nothing behind those eyes. Like there's just nothing there. I don't know. It might just be the posing, and then the vial of his son's blood. That's even weirder. Okay, anyway, I'm starting to get genuinely fucking creeped out. McMonagall claims he had a remarkable memory of very early childhood events. He grew up surrounded by alcoholism, abuse, and poverty as a child. He had visions at night when scared and began to hone his psychic abilities in his teens for his own protection when he hitchhiked. He enlisted to get away. McMonagall became an experimental remote viewer while serving the U.S. intelligence. Yeah, Joe still has this. So this, where's the interview at? I had up. This interview got, it was trending. It was just posted fucking today. So he was talking shit about David Grush at one point. Is what had happened somewhere. David Grush. I'm just curious what he said. I'm just curious.
Take your video lottery play.
Shut the fuck up, man. There we go.
What is your opinion on this David Grush fella?
The one everybody's calling a whistleblower?
Yes. And he's talking about, he just recently went to New York and did some talk at some penthouse for some billionaire, talking about how he saw a craft that looked like it was 40 feet from the outside, and as soon as you go inside the craft, it's as big as a football field. He's saying all kinds of crazy stuff, and there's off-planet beings.
The rise of the con, man. It's like people can say anything. First of all, he's not a whistleblower, okay? And I hate that when people start calling people that are doing what he's doing whistleblowing. He is a purveyor of hearsay, because, you know, only a few intelligent interviewers and listening to him rant on about, I know that, you know, we have captured alien craft. I know that we have alien bodies. And a few intelligent interviewers have said, you know, have you seen these? Well, no. Then how do you know? Well, I have some colleagues who are trusted sources who do have personal knowledge of these things. And if they're telling me that, that's what who are these people? Well, I can't tell you that. Well, there you go. So now all you are is a hearsay peddler. You're standing up, expressing some degree of narcissistic, sociopathic tendency. Some might even say pathological. So you can get your face on a camera. You get this endearing public supporting you in what you're saying, but you have no proof, no evidence.
It's quite presumptuous, I would say. In fact, if you listen to what David was actually saying, which I don't know if he actually has, Dave's relayed that he's seen documentation of these things. And in these conversations imply that he's seen documents supposedly proving some of these claims. So it's not simply just hearsay. I think he's refused to elaborate on what documentation and what's specifically been documented, I guess, which is frustrating. But it's complicated. And I guess his name is David. He has a fair point, I guess. But at the same time, I don't think he's really digested the interview completely. This is probably relating to the he's probably talking to about some of his conjecture on Joe Rogan's podcast as well. But I think he made it pretty clear that he's had more than hearsay. He's spoken to first-day witnesses who provided him information and proof as well, I believe, through documentation. So it's not quite correct, in my opinion. And I'm obviously arguing that objectively, I think that's not correct either. That he's stated pretty explicitly, I think, that he's seen documentation. So is that a piece of a craft? No. Let's say they took him to go see a craft. Okay. So now he can say that he's seen a craft, and he was told that it was a craft by this guy who's accredited, who worked in a classified program that was disclosed to him to be about reverse engineering alien crafts. But then you can make the argument, well, yeah, but how did you know that craft was one of the alien crafts? You can say, well, because he told me it was. You can say, well, do you know that for sure, though? Did you go up and did you verify it yourself that it was alien? It's like, well, no. How would I do that? It's like, well, okay, then you don't truly know. Like, okay, but no, I was in the hang. It's like, where do you want to stop with this? This is the problem, right? So where do you want to draw the line in the sand? It's like, well, did you go up to it? Did you take a piece of it? Did you then analyze it yourself? Did you then subject it to all of these tests, material tests, to show that it's made out of compounds that are not native to Earth? So that then we can prove this craft is in fact something that cannot be crafted on Earth and it is in fact alien. It's like, well, no. But then could you relay that you saw documentation from other people in material sciences that proved this? You could, but then you could say, well, do you know for sure that these documents are real? No. Did you meet these people? No. Are these people telling the truth if you met them? I don't know. Where do you stop with this? That's the problem. I mean, you don't stop with it. That's the whole issue. And it'll keep going and going and going until Joe Biden or somebody comes out and tells everybody it's real. And I think that's what really people are looking for in the end. They want some authority figure to tell them that it's real. They don't even need to know the details themselves. They just want to know that someone in some position of authority has communicated to them this is in fact real, right? And I think what we're looking at with this as well is we're still dealing with the ramifications psychologically of this psychological operation that was purported onto people to make them believe that this is bullshit. Now, it's a big deal too, and I get that if something's coming to visit us from someplace else, we're going to want to make sure 100% that this is actually happening. And really, short of the beings even just coming into your room and telling you that they're real, I don't know what it's going to take. But then there are going to be people that, even if that were to occur, could potentially write it off as a hallucination. Like if you're Mick West and you go and you buy Stephen Greer's fucking book, right? CE5, and you say, okay, Stephen, I'm going with my back line. I'm going to try and summon them. And they show up and they sit in the room with him and they say, Mick, we're going to sit you down. What are you fucking doing? Right? They're like, what are you doing? Or who are you working for, actually? How's he gonna take that encounter, right? Let's say he asks him for a piece of physical evidence because no one's gonna believe that this actually happened, but they actually sat down in a room with him. He's never hallucinated in his life before. He's never never experimented with psychedelic substances, probably, judging from some of his interactions I've seen with him. So after they leave, is he going to believe this encounter? Or is he just going to write off this encounter as a hallucination because it's so outside of the ordinary? So then what does it take for someone to finally contend with this? That's the problem. Like, where does it end? Where does the doubt end? Where's the doubt rooted from? Like, where is it coming from, really? Where is it coming from, ultimately? Right? That's what I think really needs to be addressed here. And I think there's something else psychologically going on. Now, again, to David's point, I think having a group of accredited scientists study something that we can trust, that we know are trusted, that come to a conclusion that the materials, the propulsion, biologics are all indicative of something of that is extraterrestrial, that would be objectively the best way of doing it. But the problem is the conspiracy. The problem is this being wrapped up tight. So then we have these little anecdotes, and I don't think it will ever be enough until it gets kicked wide open for most of us. But then I think for some of us, it's never going to be something that's proved either way, personally. So, yeah. It'd be jealousy, like they wanted to begrudge the guy who gave Kickstarter disclosure. Could be it as well, man, yeah. To be relevant, right? To be lost in his noise, right? As someone who hasn't been involved in this for very long, he's that guy who just came out of nowhere and then everyone loves him, right? And he seems like a likable guy. He seems like a pretty honest dude. Is he over his head a little bit in the topic? Potentially, but he seems like a smart guy who's clearly willing to educate himself. So anyway, yeah, whatever, fuck. All I know is I want them to sit me down and I want them to tell me all the secrets of the fucking universe, and I'll believe it. I'll believe in you guys. I want to believe in it. I want to believe. I mean, I just wish that I could. That's the thing. So Anyway, until next time, everyone. I think that's probably going to be it for this evening. I see everyone, everyone's dribbling away to sleep now, I think. But yeah, we'll be back on Wednesday, and I'll see if Mr. Galen TV is around. We'll probably do something then. Do a wacky Wednesday or something. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming around again. Appreciate it. And I got to start clipping these up. Anybody out there that knows anyone who does fucking editing, hit me up. Again, thank you for people that do editing, that message me. I don't do any gaming stuff though. Like I don't play Fortnite, so I appreciate the reach outs. But everyone, until next time, peace.
Streaming through the digital night, Jim Bustle, he's guiding the light, unveiling mysteries of the unknown, UFOs in the alien zone. He's a man on a mission, exploring ancient secrets, it's his addiction, debating, discussing with his loyal crew, cosmic conversations, unveiling the truth.